John Frost looked on the gathered crowd, now 3,000 strong, with his voice rang loud as he sang this loveless song. God is a guide from field, from wave, from plough, from anvil, and from loom. We come our country's rights to save and speak a tyrant faction's doom. We raise the watchword liberty. We will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. Bobbies took an oath to be our nation's warders, swearing that they would enforce Sir Robert's Rules of Order. To Newport rose a million friends who rallied each supporter to join this flood of working men against Robert's Rules of Order. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. This, on the steps of Parliament, John Frost stood proud and tall. A hush fell on this great event as he told them one and all, depose the gentry and the crown, depose the House of Lords, or join the Queen in exile by Robert's Rules of Order. So Chartists, Luddites, Communists, recall each faithful martyr who died so you could have your new world Robert's Rules of Order. Say it loud, vote your favor, shout it high. All in favor, you say aye. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. A mandate of the people's cry. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed, you say nay. Opposed, opposed. The motion carries anyway. Currents change and bring to us our tear-corrupted warder. In chains subdued and ill-abused, he's left with no supporters. Mobility's will can then proceed by our own rules of order, and we'll all cheer for country's sake when Robert's drawn and quartered. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament shall be reborn with Robert's Rules of Order!
How I did the one to end automatically, I keep forgetting to make that one go to the next scene automatically, and so it just sits there, and we're sitting here like, remind me to do that when we're done to fix that.
Remind you to do something. I forgot what I just said. Okay, got it.
Okay. All right, everyone. We've been
experimenting.
We've been AWOL. So yeah, we were sitting here making all these promises to ourselves that we'll see. But we should probably say them out loud because then maybe we'll do it. So we're going to go back. We're going back to May 1st to catch up. And throughout the month of June, we're going to try to catch up so that come July 1st, we'll have some kind of commitment to do the daily thing again.
Yeah.
And when I did that with my other history stuff, I did keep that commitment. I caught up, and then I've been good. I've been a good girl. And up here
That's not what Wayne said.
Well, I'm not here. I've been a good girl. We do have our scoreboard. I'm gonna have a camera on this. I just don't have the cords for it right now, and we're tied. There was Mike 24, me 24, and then the shitty question count is 5.
And the glare is winning.
Well, now when I have a camera on, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And because we're trying to catch up, we appreciate all the condiments you can give us.
Condiments?
Yes, because we're trying to catch up.
You do have a book, right? You have a book of all these. And
Several books.
And you study it before you come here.
With relish.
You're killing me. You're killing me. Oh, good afternoon, Christopher. Okay, well, let's just get started because otherwise we'll sit here getting goofy. And Jean says hello.
We're already goofy. Hey, Jean, how you doing? Long time no see. I need to talk to you on the phones later.
Why'd you like get Italian all of a sudden? Hey, Jean. Hi, I need to talk to you.
He and I are
Joey Bag of Donuts here.
Joey, hey, Jean, how you doing?
Oh my goodness, you're reminding me of my dad's mob friends. Okay.
Sometimes a Chicago accent comes through.
Okay.
Okay, we are back to May 1st.
May 1st.
May Day.
And my brain is fried. I'm going to get them all wrong. You're going to kick my ass.
Okay, first of all, what the hell are we talking about
I
here?
have no idea. You tell me.
A motion to take from the table.
Yes.
Okay. The standard descriptive characteristics of the motion to take from the table
Yes.
include the following.
Oh, God, yes.
A. It can be applied to any question or series of adhering motions that lies on the table.
I have a headache already. Okay, wait. That wasn't English, was it?
Just read it the way it's written.
Okay, say them all, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat them.
Okay. I'll start from fresh.
Yeah, because I'm like already confused.
Okay. Standard descriptive characteristics of the motion to take from the table
Okay, got it.
include the following.
Include. Okay.
A. It can be applied to any question or series of adhering motions that lies on the table. B. It is not in order until some business or interrupting matter has been transacted or dealt with since the question was laid on the table.
Answer is going to be D.
C. A member may claim the floor for such purpose after a new main motion has been made, but before the new motion has been stated by the chair. Or D. Guess what D is?
All of the above.
Yeah.
It's D.
Yeah, it is D.
I once I knew A, B was right.
That was, you know.
Once I knew, I wouldn't have known C for sure, but I knew A and B were right. So once I knew they were right, I'm like, D. What's a Goomba? Goomba!
A Goomba? This isn't Super Mario Brothers.
That's probably some kind of like bad word now. We're probably not allowed to say that. It's probably like a slur.
A Goomba's that little dude in Super Mario Brothers that looks like a mushroom with feet that goes.
All I know is every word is offensive now, so I gotta be really, really cautious. All right. Oh, so wait now. All right, I gotta hold on. We got our new ritual here, so I'm just gonna under here just put. That was very crooked. One, and we'll. Yeah.
Notice I did not tell her to get bent. She did it on her own.
Yeah. Oh, I had the best time today. Go read the city of Baltimore's like total, like, oh my God, it's so cranky where they're like doing their laws and mandates and stuff. And they think they're cool, you know. So they have some kid, I guess, making these like memes for like why you should wear a mask or whatever. And they're like, you got to carry it with you. Keep that thing on you, it says. So I wrote there, I go, yeah, and go fuck yourself with a barbed dildo and keep that thing in you.
Just remember, wear your seatbelt to protect others.
You know, but, you know, come on, thang. Boom. Okay, boomers. Just like, please stop trying to be cool when you're just being tyrannosauruses.
Okay. Citation.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, remember that part?
I do.
It's been a while, folks.
It's been a while. Well, it'll be wherever the standard...
Section 34.
Wherever the standard descriptive characteristics of Y in the table. I want to. So you said 34, huh?
Yeah, line the table. Take it to the line of the table. Limp, snore.
To pick up.
Be limp, snore, and don't wake me till it's over.
34.
Yes.
Why is it?
Section 34.
Take from the table. So it's green. What is green again?
Sexual.
Green is motions that bring bring a question again before the assembly. Okay,
Yeah,
bring back.
I left that cheat tab in my other copy.
I've got mine.
That's because I sent it to you. Anyway, actually, no. Yeah, you sent it to me and I sent it back. But anyway,
yeah. I got it taped in here.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you following along on the not soon to be obsolete 11th, it is page 300.
It's now obsolete in Colorado, though.
Yes, it is. Lines 12 to 19, and then on over to the next page, 1 to 21.
What standard characteristic numbers is it?
1, 2, and 3.
So in the new one, it'll be 34, 2, 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So, we'll read this mess off.
You can. It's your...
Do we want to?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. A motion to take from the table. 1. Takes precedence over no pending motion and therefore cannot be moved while any other question is pending.
Mm-hmm.
But, subject to the conditions indicated in the next sentence, takes precedence over a main motion that has been made but has not yet been stated by the chair.
That's C.
Unless it is moved under suspension of the rules, it must be moved at a time when no program or rule interferes, and while business of the class to which the subject question belongs, unfinished business, general orders, or new business is in order, and it cannot interrupt a series of motions connected with taking up a single item of business, see below. It yields to privileged and incidental motions, but not to subsidiary ones. So what the hell is that one?
What's interesting is it can only be taken up in the order of business at which time that class of business would be in order. I didn't realize that.
Which is a very non-descriptive term.
Well, but like say you were in the middle of committee reports, you couldn't take something from the table that didn't have anything to do with that.
Ah, okay, got it.
It has to be under general orders or whatever the hell. Yeah.
Okay, number 2. Can be applied to any question or series of adhering motions that lies on the table as explained in the first paragraph under further rules and explanations, which is at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
This motion is not in order, however, until some business or interrupting matter has been transacted or dealt with since the question was laid on the table. Okay, that's B.
Yeah.
And if it is moved and voted down, the motion taken from the table cannot be renewed until some further business has been transacted. No subsidiary motion can be applied to the motion to take from the table. Okay, 3 is out of order when another has the floor. When a member can claim preference in being recognized for the purpose of making this motion ahead of a new main motion, or he can claim the floor for such purpose after a new main motion has been made, but before the new motion has been stated by the chair. And that was C.
C.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the rest is must be second, not debatable, not amendable, requires a majority vote, can't be reconsidered. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. All right. Oh, yeah. You got your...
Sorry.
I think I have upstairs the
bottom side.
The Berglund gavel.
The Berglund gavel?
Yeah, it came with some historical stuff. So if you want to use
Holy
David
cow.
Berglund's National Chair gavel.
That's from what year?
I don't know. It's engraved on it, but I do. It was in a box of shit I got. I'm like, wow, his gavel. So, yeah, nice.
You got the Wayne for the state party meetings.
But this was his, like, it was with his name and, like, everything.
Dang.
So, anyway.
A little piece of
Is Mr. Berglund still around?
I thought he passed away a few years
Did he?
ago.
I'm really bad with, like, who's here, who's not. I didn't think he was that old.
I thought he passed away.
It could be. I mean, he wasn't, like, in his 20s, but I also didn't think he was that old.
All right. Let's look it up.
All right, he'll look it up while I don't want to read it at the same time you're looking up because you and I are both old, speaking of old and about to die. And we can't do two things at once. Right? Well, am I annoying you with this yet?
No.
This is an ASMR channel now. You know what ASMR is, right?
Yeah, he died in June of 2019.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I thought I had seen that before.
Seebeck doesn't know what ASMR is.
ASMR?
He doesn't. He doesn't know what ASMR is.
American Society of something. No,
it's like audio. It's this weird genre on YouTube where people just make noises into the microphone. And it like, in some people, actually in most people, it triggers like this weird reflex in your nervous system.
It says here he was chair twice.
Yeah, he was chair twice. And he ran for president.
77 to 81 and 98 to 2000.
I think it's the older gavel I have. Yeah. I'm not sure, though. Maybe he used it both.
And that was, and he passed away at age 83 back in June of 2019.
I thought he was younger than that. Yeah. So you have to listen to some ASMR channels. It like gives you the tinglies. Some people have no reaction, but most people, it's certain sounds done on the mic, like little soft sounds. Oh, even talking about it's giving me the tinglies.
Those will drive me nuts.
No, it's kind of pleasant. Some of them are gross, though. Some of them are like people making mouth sounds. I mean, it's just like, that's nasty. Yeah, gross. All right. The second.
Well, you realize that's half of what the German language is.
Yeah, German and there's another one that does that. Like Yiddish or Hebrew.
No, Polish and Russian go deeper than that, yeah.
All righty. Are you ready?
No, but we'll go anyway.
Oh. We did a very similar question. I bet you I'm going to hear the same objections as you did. You objected.
I'll get it wrong again.
You objected very greatly to this, but now that I'm tingling your memory here, you'll probably get it right because you'll go you'll remember that your instinct was wrong last time. So here we go. I could be not entirely steering you wrong because all I saw was a couple words and went off on a rabbit trail. All right. A subject is referred to a what? Okay.
I'm getting started.
Because this sentence makes no sense. A subject is referred to a means of a main motion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That made sense to you?
A subject is referred to as a means...
No as.
A subject is referred to...
A means of a main motion.
A means of a main motion.
If that sentence made sense to you, God bless you. Because it seems to be missing a word somewhere. But let's continue. A motion... Okay, I know what this is trying to say now. A subject is referred by means of a main motion.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's what we're going to assume it says.
Okay.
A motion to discharge a committee
Yes.
is subsequently adopted.
Okay.
What is the effect of this adoption? A. The subject comes up automatically under new business. B. The subject comes up automatically under unfinished business and general orders. C. Another main motion is needed to bring the subject that was referred before the assembly, otherwise it dies. D. The subject comes up automatically immediately following the adoption of the motion to discharge a committee.
Okay. If I understand what that's saying, hopefully I do.
Well, I understand it, so
Yeah.
tell me what your understanding is.
Oh, yeah. Correct me if I got this whacked down, which I probably do. You've got a motion to refer something to a committee. Then you have a motion to discharge that committee.
Right, and it doesn't say how much time passed,
Right.
but
So it was over
doesn't matter.
some period of time. Which means the committee was doing something related to that. The question is, how do you get the stuff that the committee was working on before the main body?
Well, it says, what's the effect of discharging the committee? How does that affect that business that was referred to the committee? And that's what the choice
In
is.
general, the idea is that if they're moved to discharge, everything just gets killed on the floor, falls on the floor, and it's done. So what are the options again?
A, the subject comes up automatically under new business.
I don't think so.
B, the subject comes up automatically under unfinished business and general orders.
Maybe. Keep going.
C, another main motion is needed to bring the subject that was referred before the assembly. Otherwise, it dies.
Mm-hmm.
D, the subject comes up automatically immediately following the adoption of the motion to discharge a committee. I would have gotten this wrong, I think.
Judging from what I think, and this is whatever, I'm going to go with C.
You are correct. I would have gotten that wrong. So it dies.
The logic was it dies, therefore you want to bring it back, you need a motion.
You need to renew it, basically.
Yeah.
I would have guessed D, that it came up automatically. Like, okay, it's out of the committee, so now it's back in your lap, bitches. But no, C, you were right. I would have gotten it wrong.
That was a guess.
Okay.
Logically speaking, if a discharge happened, it croaked, and that's it.
But yeah, my instincts definitely would have been wrong on that. So let's look at where we're looking at, because I want to see.
Let's look over there.
So section 36.
Okay.
Which is discharge a committee,
committee.
which is also a bring back motion.
Yes.
Alleged. See, that's weird because it really isn't bringing it back, but it has it under green, which is a bring back motion. Okay. Your pages 15 through 18.
What page number?
314, sorry. I'm not used to now
Give me
this.
a line number. Yeah, okay, here we go. What, 15 to 18?
Yeah.
Okay, it's right above form and example.
Okay, let me find that.
Probably right here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that paragraph. On the other hand, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 3611 in the new version. On the other hand, not this hand, this hand.
On the third hand.
On the eighth hand,
On the third hand, you're a mutant, yes.
a motion to discharge a committee from further consideration of a subject that was referred to the committee by means of a main motion is a particular case of motion to rescind or to amend to something previously adopted.
Wait, what? How is that amend something previously adopted?
Yeah, I see rescind.
Rescind I get. Unless you're talking about amending something previously adopted being the motion to refer to the committee in the first place.
Yeah, I don't see how it's a form of, but rescind, I see.
Yeah, rescind makes sense.
So, when such a motion to discharge a committee has been adopted, another main motion is needed to bring before the assembly the matter that was referred. Otherwise, it dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
And you
straightforward.
notice the minute I pulled that off, I flipped this over so I don't cheat like you do.
You always accuse me of cheating when I don't.
You do.
I do not.
Now you cheat.
No, I don't. If I was going to cheat, I'd have been looking at this over while you were setting things up,
Yeah,
and you'd have noticed it.
yeah,
I was.
yeah,
I was just sitting there.
I know your cheating heart. There's got to be a country song in there somewhere. You're cheating
hard.
hard.
See, they did a Pepsi commercial on that years ago. They showed a Pepsi guy in a convenience store as he had finished loading the Pepsi, and he looks at the Coke thing.
And it was like,
You're cheating hard. And he grabs it. He goes to get a Coke can, and the whole display just crashes
oh, and then
onto
everyone
the floor.
looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
It's like, dude, Coke isn't it.
Speaking of, this has nothing to do with anything. It just reminded me.
Uh-oh.
Damn you, Mr. Seebeck.
What?
I am absolutely addicted now to the damn crossword scratch-offs. And at least I keep winning money because I have no money because I quit my job. So I keep winning enough to get another ticket.
We were running an errand earlier and pick up a replacement. Yeah.
Yeah, and none of that's like money I put. It's all from the initial investment.
It's her entertainment budget. Besides,
it is.
Besides me, that is.
I like it because it takes a long time to complete.
Well, that's why I liked them in the first place.
Yeah, because I don't want to just scratch
those little
it.
dinky one little scratch off, have a nice day.
It's like
Those
2
suck.
seconds and you feel like you're really just wasting your money. I mean, it is all still a waste of your money.
But with the scratch off, with the crossword puzzles, at least you have to go through and figure out what the letters are.
Yeah, it's fun. It
you
takes
build more
you.
anticipation. I'm gonna get this word. Oh, I got this one. Yeah, no, that's not enough. Oh, crap. What the hell? What's the bonus?
And you learn to hate the letter J.
Uh-huh.
J is hardly ever used.
And the letter Q and the letter Z.
Those are used way more. J, I've never got. No, one time. And I've done a lot of these now.
I've done a
Thank
few
you.
of them too, yeah.
J, fuck J. J needs to go out of the English language because I never would have thought J. Sorry, all you Jeffs out there.
Or at least out of
but,
the crossword puzzles anyway, yeah.
you know, because G is used.
Yeah. For those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, the Colorado Lottery has a large scratch-off
All of the states
game.
have a crossword scratch-off.
Oh, they do now?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I watch these
I didn't
on
know that
YouTube. I'm pretty sad. I
Yeah.
watch scratchers.
But if you have a state of the lottery, go take a look at the convenience store. You'll see them. But the general idea is they give you a bunch of letters. You mark them off on the board. And if you match a certain number of words, you can win a certain level of prize. There's usually a little bonus square to like a multiplier or an instant win or something like that. But the thing about them, which is nice, is they take a while to do. They're not just one scratch and have a nice day.
Takes 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fun. But yeah.
There's actually some entertainment factor to it.
But when you get the J in your letters, you're like, oh, I might as well throw that out. Not the ticket, but like that one square, because there's never a J. It sucks. There's never a J. And I've never won a lot on those.
You should win around $3 to $6.
See, I do the. Okay, now you're gonna sound like I'm all Mr. Mrs. like high spender, but I do the $20 ones.
Oh, jeez.
Because they're bigger.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Bigger, and it has more to do. So, I win 20 a lot in order. In other words, I break even.
They're pretty good for breaking even, no matter what.
And I once got 40 on 2 of them, and that's how I ended up getting the $50 tickets. If you're wondering how that happened, it's because I won. Yeah, but normally
at that point you're playing with house money.
Yeah, and in the $50 ones you can win.
Yeah.
Like someone, you could also be like, holy damn, I just lost 50 bucks. Like when you get nothing on a $50 ticket, you want to just go. But do you do the second chance drawings?
Not much, no.
Because it's hard to do in Colorado. See, I know way too much about this stuff. You got to get the app. So you scratch off the barcode on the bottom and you scan it into the app. It automatically enters you into second chance.
Oh, they changed that.
And because most people don't know how to enter now because they've made it hard, the odds are way better because there's not as many entries.
It used to be years ago before the apps and everything came out.
You had to mail it.
Or take them down to the state fair where you fill out the back and throw them in the bin.
Now you can't mail it. You have to scan it into the app. Huh. And I was reading on all these.
I wasn't aware of that.
All these like little blogs that talk about these people who are like have gambling problems basically, and it said that Colorado's the best one to do second chance ones on.
Yeah, because I used to just save the darn things and fill them all out, and then go on to the state fair, which was in my neck of the woods anyway, and just throw about a stack of about 50 of them into the
They
bin.
changed it, and even though that there's still
the bin's still there, by the way, at the state fair. They can still do that.
I don't
think it was last
no,
time
I
was
think
there
they
a
got
couple
rid
years
of
ago.
that entirely.
Oh,
You can do that at the state fair for the lotto, not the scratch-offs.
oh, interesting.
The scratch-offs you have to do through the app.
Oh, okay. Then that's been the last couple of years. Cause
Even though there's still that box on the back
Well,
that looks like you can still fill it out, that box to fill out now in the back is if you get a claimer that you have to go to the Capitol because it's over 500 or whatever.
Because the 2018 state fair when I went down there, they still had that there because it had the box sitting there.
Yeah.
And it was right there. There was a second chance to win a fully loaded F-150.
Yeah, they give away
And
cars.
I'm like, sure, let's bring it.
The scratch off second chance though is some good money. They showed a video of this lady who got visited by the Colorado State Library, with a big check for $500,000. She thought she was getting punked. Like she wouldn't believe it. She was just like, really? Come on, go fuck with somebody else, basically.
If I got one of those big cardboard chairs, I'd probably frame it and stick on the wall.
But she won $500,000 on a second chance. So even when I lose now, I don't feel so bad. I'm like, at least I got it a second chance. Yeah.
At least that's a hell of a second chance.
Yeah, I've got a problem, but at least it's with state money. Like,
look on the bright side. It helps go towards the state parks.
Yeah, allegedly. But I am through my winnings. Like, I haven't invested a lot because I quit my job. Yeah. All right.
Lotteries aside,
I love those scratch-offs. Damn you. Wayne is really cussing you at this point.
He didn't give me crap early. He just said you liked them.
Yeah, boys gave you crap when you weren't around. Your ears must have been burning when he was like, girl, you're addicted to these things. I'm like, yeah, Mike.
I don't do them too often.
Mike said, try the crossword, Mike
I didn't
said.
say do them every day.
Try the crossword. You'll like it, Mike said. It's like Wayne, before I got involved in the LP, you need to get involved in something. You don't know anybody. And now he's like,
yeah, excuse me of being the bad influence. I never said do it every day.
you didn't say not do it every day either.
Well, that's your personal responsibility.
I'm blaming you. You're such a fucking bad influence.
Blame me.
All right.
You're responsible for your own actions. We're libertarians, remember?
I'm going to win, though. I told Wayne I'm going to win $3 million.
Good. Then you can retire.
Then I can quit my job forever.
Yeah. Anyway, lottery tickets aside, May 3rd.
Yes.
Oh, Gene had a comment up on Mr. Berglund.
Oh, yeah. He says, Mr. Berglund used to live in Costa Mesa, which is, random fact, the hometown of Calvary Chapel. And we know because I used to be involved in that cultic group.
Orange County, California. Been through there a million
and
times.
I bet you there's going to be some Calvary Chapel person going to be all butthurt in the comments with me.
Excuse me. Having lived out in that neck of the woods for a good chunk, there's a lot of those churches out there, including the Scientologists.
Well, there's some really good things about Calvary, but there's some very bad things about Calvary, too. And anyone wants to know, you can come talk to me offline about the bad things. And then moved to Kennewick, Washington, to be closer to his grandkids. He was a good man.
He was. I never met the guy, but he always seemed. No, I heard never anything bad about him.
Yep. Well, we have his gavel.
Okay, May 3rd.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Oh, this is resolutions.
Red.
Not for New Year's, just for whatever.
Yeah, we're going through that on the LNC right now.
Okay. If a resolution was adopted by unanimous consent,
Mm-hmm.
and a member moves to reconsider the vote on the resolution, first of all, you smack him in the head. The chair should what? A. Immediately ask the member whether the member was present at the time. B. Rules the motion to reconsider out of order. C. Directs the member to state which side the member voted on as soon as the motion to reconsider is pending. D. Immediately directs the member to state which side the member voted on.
B.
This should be pretty easy, actually.
B?
Nope.
It's not B?
It's actually A.
What was A?
Immediately ask the member whether they were present at the time.
Yeah, I was wondering that, but just because you weren't present doesn't give you reconsideration, right?
You have to be on the voting on the winning side, which in this case it was unanimous, so everybody was on the winning
Right,
side.
so what does it matter if he was present or not?
Well, because if he wasn't there, he couldn't have voted for it anyway.
Then he doesn't have reconsideration rights.
That's why the chair has to ask that question.
Got it. Okay, I read more into it.
Yeah.
I read into it that If he wasn't there, then my mistake. It was me overreading. It's my autism. Got it. Okay, I fucked that up.
Because you can't rule the motion out of order because
you don't know.
Out of order.
Well,
not necessarily.
But it is.
At the immediately.
Wait. No. Now I'm questioning. B is right too. It is out of order. It doesn't matter. If he was there, it's out of order. If he wasn't there, it's out of order.
Why is it out of order if he was there?
Oh, I get it. No, never mind.
Because it passed on unanimous consent.
Right, so he was on the winning side.
Everybody was on the winning side.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. Never
mind. Which is why C and D don't make any sense.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, the only way it could be out of order is if he wasn't there. So he has to figure that out first. That's why B doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I screwed up. Yeah. You don't even want to know why I screwed up. I'll tell you in a second. It's like this swirl is kind of unfortunately placed, and it keeps distracting me because it looks like it's my boobs.
I'm not looking at her chest, folks. So
I'm glad this swirl isn't down a little. Otherwise, that would be very unfortunate place. But I keep looking here, and doesn't it look like, that's like the nip? So, yeah. So that's why I'm distracted by my own boobs.
Now, I will say this. You had a video about harassment. I'm not harassing you.
I'm harassing myself.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm getting distracted by my own boobs. Okay, I legitimately got that one wrong. So you're going to read now? Yeah, because...
330. Okay, this is section 37.
Gotta stop thinking about my boobs.
Which is reconsider.
You cheated, didn't you?
How did I cheat?
Before you handed this to me.
I was looking at the back. Give me a break. Okay, 331, which is under reconsider, of course, which is section 37. Uh-huh. And it is lines 4 through 8 on 331, which has under form and example. I mentioned I can talk some days. Let's see.
Form. Why can't I find form and example?
You're in section 37?
Yeah, what? Why am I fucking up?
Go back.
I did go. How far? So reconsider.
Form and example is like right after standard. No, it's not under standard characteristics. Excuse me.
Then there's further rules. How many pages past further rules?
Hang on.
It's a long way.
I'm trying to find further rules. Okay, the further rules is on 321. This is like 10 pages after that.
I was going to say.
Form and example.
Yeah, there was quite a journey between those two. Okay.
It's a long way. It's a long way to reconsider. Yes. This one, it says, if the resolution was adopted by unanimous consent, right here.
Got it. So 3738, okay.
Yeah, if the resolution was adopted by unanimous consent, the chair should ask whether the member was present at the time. If the member did not vote on the prevailing side, another member who did so can make the motion to reconsider if they desire. The motion must be seconded. Yeah,
I was just too distracted by my boob. Boob excuse. It's understandable. All right, fuck that one up now. All right. Oh, my elbow hurts. Don't ask me why I'm old. I get all kinds of very weird, random aches and pains. All of a sudden, it's just started aching. What does that mean? Isn't that like some kind of old wives' tale? I am an old wife at this point.
George Burns had a way to describe it. He said, "You know you're getting old when everything hurts, and what doesn't hurt doesn't work."
All of a sudden, it just started aching, and the weather here is bad. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, we're having a thunderstorm outside right now.
Okay, well, here we go, Mr. Seebeck. If you get this one right now, then you're ahead of me, and I'm going to have to kill you. I'll have to poison you in your sleep. Oh, God. Alrighty. This is a short one.
That's what she said.
Unfortunately, yeah. Commit can be applied to, colon, A.
Do you want to commit my colon? Admittedly, that probably lose some weight, but it's not a story.
A motion to reconsider the vote on a main question. B. Postpone indefinitely. C. Any subsidiary motion. D. None of the above are correct.
Okay, wait a second. Start at the beginning again.
Commit can be applied to.
Okay.
Colon. A. A motion to reconsider the vote on a main question. B. Postpone indefinitely. C. Any subsidiary motion. D. None of the above.
Okay, it definitely is not B. Because if you want to commit, you want to commit a motion to postpone indefinitely to a committee, you got some weird shit going on.
Yeah, you definitely are warped.
Yeah. The first one was A was what again?
A motion to reconsider the vote on a main question.
That doesn't make any sense either. C.
Any subsidiary motion.
Maybe. And so D was none of the above.
Yes.
Well, it's either C or D, because it sure the hell ain't the first two. Because if it's not C, then it's D. If it's not D, then it's got to be C. So let's see.
Let's see. Let's see. C, B, B. Okay.
Yeah, to C or
to C or not to
C.
C.
That is the question.
To C or D, not to C.
That is the question.
Or,
yes.
Yeah, whatever.
This is why Shakespeare wasn't a parliamentarian. He wrote poems.
I'm hungry. I just ate and I'm hungry. Such an old lady. I want to take a nap.
I'm not totally sure, so I'm going to take the safe way out and say D.
It is. It is D.
Okay, that was a guess, folks.
And let me tell you why I would have guessed.
That was a pure freaking guess. I wasn't sure about the subsidiary motions thing.
Oh, and you want to know what would have clued it into me? Because it said any subsidiary motion.
Okay.
I don't think any, like, that's so broad that to me that was automatically wrong. And that's why I would have guessed a D.
I'll admit I wasn't thinking in that direction, but I understand your reasoning.
Okay, so it is
way in the hell before.
section 13.
Yeah.
And you are ahead. Don't forget to put up your little tickety tack up there, because now I'm plotting to kill you. I think I want a pizza or something. Okay, 13.
You can't kill me when I sleep. I got work to do on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, you won't soon. 13, pages 170.
That's her resolution to quitting her job, folks. She wants to wind up in Canyon City for the rest of her life.
Well, then I won't have to worry about food and shelter.
Yeah, get three.
I'll be in the tender, loving hands of the state.
Three hots and a cot. Yeah. Okay, where are we at?
And be somebody's bitch. 170.
Oh, I'm on 170. Okay.
Lines
pure damn luck.
3 through 23.
Okay, that's up in standard characteristic number 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a little ways down as standard character.
All right.
That's a lot of math. That's a long characteristic.
Can be applied to main motions, which is why it wasn't any subsidiary. While they are actually pending as main motions. I'm kind of
What was the line numbers?
3 through 23.
Okay, so that starts up at, it cannot be applied to an undebatable appeal.
Where's that at?
It's in there somewhere.
Why don't you? This is kind of complex with all the different things, so maybe you should read it instead.
Oh,
of me.
okay. There's actually 2 references here.
Yeah,
so
it's complicated.
We'll start with the first one, which is 173 to 23. This is in standard characteristic number 2 of commit or refer, which is section 13.
Yeah, and so it's 13.7 in the new book.
Yeah. It cannot be applied to an undebatable appeal. It cannot be applied to the motion to reconsider alone. That is, it cannot be applied to a motion to reconsider a main question. And if a main question is committed while a motion to reconsider an amendment is pending, such a motion to reconsider is therefore thereafter ignored. It cannot be applied to any subsidiary motion, except that its application to a main question also affects any motion to amend that may be pending, as noted above. It cannot be moved after the adoption of a motion to close debate on the main question at a definite hour, or to limit the total time allowed for debate, but it remains in order if only a limitation on the length of speeches is in force. Man, this is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Motions to amend, limit, or extend limits of debate and for the previous question can be applied to it without affecting the main question. The motion to commit cannot be definitely postponed or laid on the table, but when it is pending, the main question can be definitely postponed or laid on the table, and in such a case, the motion to commit is also postponed or carried to the table. It cannot be postponed indefinitely.
All right.
Okay, we should have brought some croutons for that salad.
Yeah,
the second citation is 319, which is back here somewhere. Hang on,
319.
Yeah,
okay.
That's section 37, reconsider.
Ah.
And that is under standard characteristics. 2, and then it's down. Okay, it's the last paragraph in standard characteristic 2.
Okay.
Starts with the motion to lay on the table, etc.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The motion to lay on the table can be applied with the motion to reconsider, motions to postpone to a certain time, to limit or extend limits of debate, and for the previous question can also be applied to it when it is debatable, see standard characteristic 5. When a motion to reconsider is postponed or laid on the table, all adhering questions are also postponed or go to the table. Motions to postpone indefinitely, amend, or commit cannot be applied to a motion to reconsider.
Okay, and that was
That actually makes
37-9.
That actually makes more sense than the first part. So.
Oh, now this is... And you did your little mark? Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right.
A mark on the
You
board.
got to go to sleep sometime. All right.
Okay. Sunday, May the 5th. Oh, that was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Well, that's a normal thing. This is May the 5th, so, you know, day afterwards. Cinco de Mayo, if you prefer. Ready?
No.
Oh, it's a Sunday.
Oh. So do we have anything extra to discuss?
Not that I can think of. We can talk about the convention, I mean.
Well, no, I think actually, JJ sent me something interesting, and I don't know where I filed it. On censoring, but I should have printed it out. So let me just look up and see if it's here. Oh, there's my letter to the board bitching. Maybe he sent it to my
I think I
secretary.
saw that one.
Yeah, maybe he sent it to my secretary account. He sent an article he wrote on the different
Credentials Committee.
I was an alternate. Okay, he didn't know he was on the committee. Nice of him, somebody to tell him.
It does
Okay,
now.
Censure. Oh, you might find it. So let's take a look at this article.
There it is.
On Censure for our Sunday thing.
Oh, excuse me.
Let me, though, download this, and we can put it up on the screen. And we can talk about it. So let me just stick this up here. I can find where I downloaded it to. I think I downloaded it to show assets, didn't I? Why don't I look at where I download this shit to?
I don't know. It's your computer.
It's right there. Well, before I download it, why
I have no trouble finding crap on my phone sometimes, but I understand. But you know.
Okay, so it's kind of it's in the middle of the screen here. It's what the was that you? Oh, that was you. Okay.
I think that was me. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have it up here on the screen there, and we can.
Oh yeah, it was a weather statement.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I thought it was something important.
This is old because it's talking about 10th, but I think it's really interesting.
Damn, I can't see shit out of those.
So it says there's, and I wonder if anything's changed. We can take a look.
Pardon me one moment, folks. I can't see what I'm looking at. That's better. Now I can see.
Because he was asking what type of censure was I getting threatened with, and I'm like, I don't think they even know.
It was the kind that swings back and forth in church. It's full of kratom or cannabis. Yeah.
God help me. All right. So now again, it's dealing with the 10th, and we can look at how it might have changed in the 12th.
Okay.
It says there was a list. I think he goes on to talk about the 11th.
This is under disciplinary actions.
Right.
So let's go walking. Let's take my fingers to the walking of the back of this whole thing.
So he says 2 points were clear regarding disciplinary action. One, there was a list of what constituted punishments a society could inflict upon a finding of guilt. Mm-hmm. Those punishments generally fall under the headings of reprimand, fine, if authorized in the bylaws, suspension, or expulsion. 2, the motion to censure somebody could be adopted without disciplinary action. 2 examples are given. First is noting that now this is what's interesting, because this is to me, a very weird extrapolation, though it's logical. Okay, the first is noting that a motion to ratify the actions of an officer or other representative of the assembly may be amended by substituting a motion to censure and vice versa. And that's over in this section on amendments, where you could amend a motion to be opposite of what it was first intended. Like you could, if you have a motion to commend somebody.
Yeah, here's the list. It's on the very first page of section 61.
Yeah, but that's in the
11th.
In the 11th.
Yeah.
So,
which is page 643 in the 11th. It must have added some stuff.
Okay,
between 10 to 11.
Where's mine? Disciplinary is what section?
Section 61.
Let me see what the list is in 61
it's
here.
It's the second paragraph, right at the beginning of everything.
Where?
Second paragraph, right at the beginning, right there. Punishments that, that's
okay.
it.
So censure, that's different. They added that. And there's a footnote here that says what he was saying here. Mm-hmm. It's possible to adopt a motion of censure without formal disciplinary procedures. Mm-hmm. So what he was trying to point out to me is that they didn't really have to notify me because I was bitching they didn't notify me. I don't care what they have to do. You're a bitch if you don't notify somebody that you're trying to censure them. I'm sorry. I don't care what the rules say. You are a bitch.
Because the normal response is, oh, you censured me? So what?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, okay, they weren't so required to, but they didn't know that, and they weren't talking about formal disciplinary. This is unsophisticated people. But the thing I wanted to concentrate on here, where it talks about how, even before when it wasn't explicit that you could censor without formal proceedings, mm-hmm. that could be implied by the fact that you could amend a commentation to be a censor without mm-hmm. notifying anybody. Right. And under amend. Because you and I had talked about that before, and you didn't think you could do that, but you can.
To do what again?
Amend something to make it the opposite of what the original motion was. So if the original motion was...
I think we were talking about that, though, in the context of notice and scope of a bylaws amendment.
Oh, no, this was in one of our questions.
Because in that case, you can't.
No, you can't, because that's totally different. Right. But in a meeting... Yeah. Because what a lot of people go, no, you because you can't amend something to achieve the same results you would get simply by voting it down. Yeah. That's not the same thing as amending it to be opposite. Because simply voting down a commendation isn't the same as affirmatively denouncing. Right. I don't need to find that citation, but because he just references that.
Amend, which is
it's in there. Okay, because right here, the 10th edition gives the example of a motion that the city council commend Officer George, being amended by striking out commend and inserting censure. So A.
I'm glad I'm not Officer George.
Yeah. The 10th edition also accepts a motion of censure or a motion related to disciplinary procedures from the general rule that the wording of a motion may not reflect on the character or conduct of a member or would not be the type of language permitted in debate.
That example is in section 12.
Officer George?
Yes.
Yeah.
Page 137, line 20. Yeah.
Right. So, and it said, while it could be argued that censure could fall under the general heading of reprimand, it would be clear that censure was distinct from a penalty in disciplinary actions. Nothing in the text of the 10th edition would indicate that censure would only be a penalty in disciplinary action. And the 11th, some of that changed. Mm-hmm. Censure is now, and it's also in the 12th, a possible penalty
we mentioned that a minute ago.
That the assembly can inflict. Reprimand has been removed from the list of punishments.
There's so what's the difference
between censure and a reprimand?
Yeah.
I think this.
I mean, reprimand has a specific human resources context to it. But if that's not in play, then what's the difference?
Let's read on and see if he says, because I don't know. There's more, however. The footnote on the same page...
Wait, there's more.
Notes that it's possible to adopt a motion of censure without formal disciplinary procedures. Right. Censure can now be the penalty in a disciplinary action, but it doesn't have to be.
Uh-huh. That makes sense.
The language for the motion to ratify remains in the 11th. That's about the Officer George thing. And
that's a different page, actually.
But page 125?
Yeah, that was on 137.
Okay, well, let's see what it says here in 125 in yours.
Okay, 125, line 15. It's the second to last paragraph in section 10.
Okay, I don't...
Yeah.
What section again is it?
That's the very end of section 10. 10.
Very end of it?
Yeah, which is main motion. White tab. The first yellow tab is amend. So it's right before.
Oh, I'm in amend, but
Yeah.
where?
Section 10, very last page of section 10.
I am in, okay, here's section 10. I'm on the last page.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, motion to ratify can be amended by substituting a motion of censure.
Mm-hmm. And vice versa.
Right. Where the action involved has been taken by an officer or other representative of the assembly. Okay, so that's stayed the same. And so continue. Oh, and this, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Let me go to the next page here because we're reading on the next page in the people.
Whoops, Richard Brown weighs in.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
While a censure now clearly can be a penalty, there's situations where it's not a penalty. In terms of censure as a penalty, there must be a finding of guilt. So, in other words, formal disciplinary.
Formal disciplinary proceeding, yeah.
And in terms of what they were trying to do to me in Colorado, they weren't looking for formal disciplinary procedures. They were just looking for a motion that goes, bad, Karen, bad, don't say bar dildo.
They were going for the public embarrassment.
Yeah. These people don't even know there is such a thing as formal disciplinary things. They were just looking for a statement saying Karen bad, like Orange Man bad.
You need to get you a gavel. That the head of the gavel
is a dildo?
Is a barbed dildo.
Yeah.
So you go,
boom. So anyway, I thought this was interesting, though, that there is two kinds of censure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. So first, for an offense during a meeting, which mine wasn't an offense, allegedly.
And that's actually covered in good depth in the section on disciplinary.
Yeah. The chair must name the offender, and the assembly may adopt a penalty.
Yeah.
For instance, at the Pennsylvania Convention, though this person afterwards made amends and apologized to the people, but let's just talk about what happened during the convention.
Yeah.
Basically, one of the people there told somebody else to go fuck themselves. Okay, definitely a breach of decorum during
with or without the barbed dildo.
They did not mention a barbed dildo, so I think the implement was very much left open for amendment. So the chair must name the member, and the assembly may adopt a penalty. The named member would lose the right to vote on the matter. Mm-hmm. This would constitute the finding of guilt. If the offense occurred outside the meeting, which if this were dealing with my thing, it would have been something outside a meeting.
Right.
A full investigation must be conducted, charges adopted, a trial held, and guilt determined. The motion for penalty in either case, for instance, that the penalty be censure would be made. The motion is debatable and amendable. Because it's incidental to the trial, unlike earlier where we were talking, it could not be amended into a form that would make it not a penalty, such as striking out censure and inserting commend.
Mm-hmm.
But
we commend you for your misbehavior.
But that earlier one, as an ordinary main motion, if somebody moved to censure, you could strike it out and insert commend, just like with that Officer George example, which would have been funny if they tried to censor me and then one of my friends on the LNC struck out censor and put in commend, which would have been hilarious.
That would have been hard parliamentarian comedy.
Yes.
Even more than us.
So this difference illustrates the difference between the motion to censure, which is that earlier one where it can be played around with, and the penalty of censure. Mm-hmm. The penalty of censure is the judgment of the assembly reached after a determination of guilt. The motion to censure expresses the opinion, a negative one, of the member by the assembly and does nothing more. And that's what they were looking for.
Yeah, a motion of censure is trying to establish or determine a guilt, but not a penalty.
Right. Which
is why there's always a difference between that part of it, the establishment of guilt or innocence, and if it's established as guilt, then the penalty is separate. So, even in legal terms, it's a trial versus a penalty phase.
What's interesting, he goes on to say, the motion to censure indicates that the assembly does not endorse the officer's action, not that the officer was guilty of misconduct.
That's interesting.
It is. And the funny thing is I've always made it clear in my comments that I'm positive that the National Party would not endorse what I say. I make no implication that they would endorse what I say.
I always thought the way that's written, though, okay, they're saying a motion to censure is a lack of endorsement. I always thought it was the opposite, that a motion to censure was condemning the action. But a lack of endorsement, to me, still sounds neutral.
I don't think it's neutral. I think it is a distancing. Neutral isn't a distancing. It's that it's an affirmative disavowal.
Yeah, but it's not a condemnation either.
It's not a statement that they had any misconduct. It's
Right.
just a statement of your disapproval.
Yeah.
A trial would be needed to inflict the penalty of censure. Likewise, and this all dealt with officers, which in my case it was.
Right.
Likewise, a motion to censure may be directed at a member.
That's true.
While
Been through
this
that.
is a matter of personal interest, not in common with other members, and the member, including an officer, should abstain from voting, he does not lose his right to vote and cannot be compelled to refrain from voting.
Mhm.
So
We went through that once many years ago. I think it was 2002 with a candidate who was several tacos short of a combo plate. And we actually originally were trying to figure out if we could rescind his nomination. And when we decided that we really couldn't, we voted to censure him instead. And basically, at that point, it was like, okay, what you're saying, and he was calling for the execution of a U.S. senator. We said, no, can't do that.
and they note that it's not limited to members. You can censor public officials and
Yes.
talk about this president and whatever. So there's a distinction between the penalty of censure and a motion that someone be censured.
Mhm.
The penalty of censure can only be adopted after the finding of guilt. It indicates that the member or officer has conducted himself in a manner that violates his duties to the society. A motion to censure expresses disapproval of some conduct, possibly of an officer or member, and even when regarding a member or officer, it does not imply guilt. It only implies strong disapproval. I thought this was really helpful.
It does make lay out a very good distinction between the two.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So I'm going to save that. But the funny thing is, again, in my case, I fully admitted up front, I'm sure the National Party would not approve of what I'm saying. I'm not speaking on behalf of the National Party, and this has absolutely nothing to do with them.
Which proves the point, know what hat you're wearing.
Yeah,
And you can be clear about
and
it.
that they were, again, an apology was extended for this action. So I'm not saying this to rag on the people. It's forgiven, forgotten. I was just more dealing with the procedure of what was trying to be done,
Well, yeah.
not rehash something for which an apology.
That, and at the time when it was brought up, it was basically laughed out of the room. So
Yeah, but I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to rehash something that I've forgiven and forgotten. So here's Richard. First, Dave, commend or condemn. It could be either. You can strike out one and insert the other.
it's all in the spelling, actually.
It's all funny that I'm saying insert while still talking about Barb dildos. Richard Brown. You can absolutely adopt a motion to censure without it being disciplined. Yep. Censor, right. So Richard reiterated what we said.
saying, yeah.
But I think that I learned a lot in that article that was sent to us. So I'll stick that in my little...
And this also goes to the broader point I make a lot of times, is that you have to be very careful to be distinct on steps and process.
Mhm.
Because one may not necessarily lead to another. They're not all wrapped together. And there are times when people just don't seem to understand that.
And I know me personally, like in my involvement with the LP, now you have different experiences because in California, y'all were all hella more dramatic and a hella more formal. But
That's a whole other show.
yeah, here in Colorado, since I've been involved, we've never had any formal disciplinary anything.
Well, not lately.
Not since I've been involved.
Yeah.
The last one that I'm aware of is when they disaffiliated Boulder.
And that was a whole different clusterfuck.
But that was a disciplinary thing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the whole reason that came to mind upstairs when we got, and this is weird, when we got the trailer, there were 2 boxes of historical documents in that trailer. Why they weren't given to me, I didn't know.
Bonus.
And in it was the Boulder stuff
Oh, wow.
of the trial, all the documents and testimony. It's all like written down, all the testimony from the trial. So that's fun.
There was some stuff in there back from 2002.
There's a lot of weird stuff in there. So it's all upstairs. All right, so that was Sunday. No scoring on Sunday. So you get a chance to get ahead of me by 2. I'm really going to have to fuck you up when you go to sleep. All right. We're on then the 6th, Mr.
And
Seaback.
if Lydia's watching this, don't be an accomplice.
Oh.
I know where you live.
We got each other, girl. We know. Okay. Are you ready?
I think so. I'm awake, so that's a good sign.
You're alive. That's all I need. Postpone indefinitely.
Oh, goody.
Has which of the following standard descriptive characteristics?
Aaron Starr cannot make the motion.
Don't do that. Squeakity squeak. That was bugging me.
All the chairs are missing. I'm missing the Barb dildo loop.
A. Are you ready? A. It yields to all applicable incidental motions. B. It is the second lowest subsidiary motion. C. It yields to all privileged motions except call for orders of the day. D. It takes precedence over nothing.
Okay, this is the precedence of postponed indefinitely.
This is a tough one, I think.
Give me the options again.
So I'm going to read the whole thing over just so everyone can follow. Postpone indefinitely.
And please, no hints or pre-answers from the gallery.
Yeah, don't tell them the answer.
Yeah.
Unless it's the wrong one, then you can do that. Postpone indefinitely has which of the following standard descriptive characteristics?
Okay.
A. It yields to all applicable incidental motions. B. It is the second lowest subsidiary motion. C. It yields to all privileged motions except call for orders of the day. D. It takes precedence over nothing.
Read me A one more time.
It yields to all applicable incidental motions.
That's all of A?
That's all of A.
All applicable incidental motions. Is that's what it says, right?
Yeah.
That's a tricky wording because not all of them are applicable. So I'm going to go with A.
It is A. And I would not have gotten that.
Well, I'll tell you what tipped me off. Remember earlier about the one you had earlier that you missed where it mentioned Annie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the tip-off right there.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that type of a form of a question. Because it didn't apply to all of them, only certain ones. That's what.
But why wouldn't it yield to privilege motions?
Good question. Let's look at the citation.
I would have guessed C. That's my thing. So
I'll admit I was tipping myself off based on the form of the question rather than the actual answer. Sometimes you got to do that.
Section 11.
That's way in the front. Okay, that's
under postpone indefinitely.
That's a yellow tab.
And the
The
standard
first yellow tab, actually. About wage 127, 126-ish. Yes. 126-ish, yeah, 13 to 21. That starts with numbers 1 and 2. Yeah.
Okay, so number 1, standard descriptive characteristics, 11.2 in the new version, takes precedence over nothing except the main motion to which it applies.
So that's not D, because D just says precedence over nothing. There's no exception there.
Right. It is the lowest ranking subsidiary motion, so it's not the second lowest.
Right.
And
I think that's B.
And yields to all other subsidiary motions, to all privileged motions.
Keep going.
And to all applicable incidental motions.
Which was A.
But it said it yields to all privileged motions. Maybe it says except for call for orders of the day. Maybe that's where the thing is. Because I don't see how C isn't right too.
Well, yeah, because it says it yields to all privileged motions, but doesn't give an exception.
But let's find out about that. So what are the rest of them? And then 127, 1 through 9.
You're going on to you're going on number 2. Keep going.
Okay. Can be applied only to the main question and can therefore be made only while a main question is immediately pending. Motions to limit or extend limits of debate and for previous questions can be applied to it without affecting the main question. It cannot be committed, although the motion to commit can be made while it's pending. It cannot be definitely postponed or laid on the table alone, but while it is pending, the main question can be definitely postponed or laid on the table. I don't see where it deals with orders of the day. Why wouldn't it yield to orders of the day?
Let's go take a walk to orders of the day and see what it says, which is way back in section
Because
41.
as of right now, it seems to me C is correct. As well as, not that it matters, because you had the right answer.
As I said, it can't. It's indefinitely yields. It doesn't yield the order of the day.
So let's look up orders of the day.
It's section 41.
Okay.
Only because I'm already in there looking.
Yeah. And 41 is a white tab, which is basic parliamentary information. So orders of the day.
Mr. Issues of orders day to establish orders of business.
Does anyone know? Like, it's not here. Why wouldn't it yield to call? Jonathan Jacobs. What the question is, it says under the standard descriptive characteristics of postpone indefinitely. It says that it would not yield to a call for orders of the day. Why wouldn't it yield to a call for orders of the day? That's what we can't find. And the citations they gave do not mention orders of the day at all.
That's agenda. There's nothing. I'm not seeing anything in orders of the day section itself.
Doesn't everything yield to call for orders of the day?
I would think.
So, again, it doesn't matter because you got it right. But if this were my question, we'd be...
Well, no, it's still good to understand why that one doesn't work. So, right or wrong, that's a good question. It's an important question.
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that out there. Now that we've said it, maybe JJ will be able to let us know and we can come back to it. Again, irrelevant because you got it right. I just would like to know the answer.
I'm curious, too, because... lack of information there is not helpful.
Yeah, because otherwise, okay. But I didn't cheat like you, and so now. Yeah.
See, she's
I'm
cheating.
hungry.
Wayne, close. Bring the food.
Listen, there's got to be someone out in our audience that can do a good remix. We need like a good remix of that. Wayne, close the door clip. Kind of like the...
Do a Max Headroom style. Wait. Close the door.
Something.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Gay Frogs remix, which I do have. While you're doing...
Crazy Frog?
No, it's... what's his face?
Have you seen the Crazy Frog videos?
No, I don't watch the dad stuff you watch.
No, this is not... No, this is actually an animated...
No, this is Alex Jones.
Remix of some music videos.
Turn the Frogs Gay. This is Alex Jones. See, look, I do have it.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
See? It was to music. So we need Wayne shut the door. Like to music.
Wayne, shut the door.
Something.
Shut the door to dick.
The Turn the Frogs Gay video, we'll probably close with that or go on break to that because that's pretty awesome. But okay, continue.
Okay, Tuesday, May the 7th. Well, of 2019.
Yeah, whatever. A question.
An answer. When a motion proposes to assign a task on which the assembly has already taken some action and refer this matter to a committee when no question is pending, what kind of motion is it? A, incidental main motion. B, original main motion. C, subsidiary motion to commit, or D, all of the above.
You got to stop that. It's killing me.
Sorry, is my proxy acting up?
Now, say that again. I'm confused.
Okay. A motion proposes to assign a task on which the assembly has already taken some action,
Mm-hmm.
and then they want to refer this matter to a committee when no question is pending.
Okay, no question is pending.
What kind of motion is it?
Okay, so they're referring to a committee, and
Yes.
there's no motion. They want to refer to a committee,
Right,
and there's no motion pending.
right.
Okay,
We have A is incidental main motion, B, original main motion, C, subsidiary motion to commit, or D, all of the above.
can't be all of the above.
Right, that's just freaking obvious.
And I don't think it's C
Why do you think it's not C?
because there's nothing pending.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a main.
I'm just walking you through it.
Yeah, it's a main motion. So what are
Yes.
the two main motion options again?
A is incidental, B is original.
Well, it's because they already took some action already is why I'm thinking it's incidental. I'm going to guess A.
And you're correct.
Yeah, because they took action. That fact had to be in there for some reason.
Mhm.
Okay. Yay!
You are correct.
And Richard
Yep.
agreed, so I can put a little so you can go ahead and read.
Okay. This is section 13, which is
Section?
probably under commit if I had to take a guess. Yes, I was right. As I flipped right, almost to the right page, but not quite. 168.
And it's a yellow tab,
It is correct.
which is subsidiary motions in general.
Okay, set 168, 32 to 35. It is on the very first page of section 13. Paragraph starts when a motion proposes to assign a task or referring matter, like right here is the top of the page.
It's not in standard descriptives?
We're just ahead of that.
Okay, right there.
Yeah.
So it's 13.6 in the new book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll read the whole paragraph because it doesn't cover all of it. When a motion proposes to assign a task or refer a matter to a committee when no question is pending, such a motion is not the subsidiary motion to commit. So that takes care of C. But it is a main motion. That puts us at A and B, eliminates D, right? Yeah, so I'm walking through this. It is an incidental main motion if the assignment or referral is pursuant to a subject on which the assembly has already taken some action. There's A. But it is an original main motion if the matter to be assigned or referred relates to a new subject.
Yeah. So my reasoning was...
Your reasoning was fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
okay.
All right. Good. I'm glad I got one.
That was pretty straightforward. Just had to reason through it. Yeah.
Oh, we got chips and salsa upstairs. I'm so hungry. We're going to get that in a minute. But we're going to...
Chips and salsa?
Yeah. Oh, see? He's happy. He's happy. We're probably going to... I don't want to be eating on camera, so we'll probably take a chips and salsas break at some point because I'm hungry. All right, A. Oh, no, A.
What?
I'm hungry! I'm not myself when I'm hungry. I'm going to turn into Godzilla here in a minute. Okay.
Pink Godzilla. Details at 11.
Let's put this on the screen because JJ answered.
Okay.
I don't know what that 2020 means, but in
And-
1804, what do you mean 2020? You mean the 12th? Yes, I suppose so. The call does not yield to any subsidiary motion, which that was a postponing.
Okay, let's go look in section 18. It's under orders of the day. Call orders of the day. I was looking at the orders of the day.
Okay, but I still don't.
Fourth paragraph.
Okay. Hold on, I'm going to 18.4, but that doesn't
Standard descriptive characteristics.
find that 18.4. Okay.
Wait, bring the salsa.
The privileged call for orders of the day takes precedence over all motions except other privileged motions and a motion to suspend the rules that relates to the priority of business.
Mhm.
Okay, but doesn't that just prove my point? It does take precedence over a motion to postpone indefinitely.
Does not use any subsidiary motion. It would when the motion been made in order of the day is pending.
But the thing was, it said that the motion to postpone indefinitely yields to all privileged motions except call for orders of the day. That's not correct. It would yield to call for orders of the day.
That's on your stack over there.
Yeah, but
let's back reference this a little bit.
Right here.
Yeah.
It yields to all privileged motions except call for orders of the day.
Right.
Right. But it should yield to call for orders of the day, right? Because it says right here.
Except when a special order this call also yields to a motion to reconsider or the calling up of a motion to reconsider that had been made previously.
But this is postponed indefinitely.
Right.
So, JJ, we're asking you, would postpone indefinitely yield to a call for orders of the day? I think it would.
Orders of the day
wouldn't it?
Is a privilege. Postpone indefinitely is not a privileged order. Or privileged motion, excuse me. Right? Postpone indefinitely, yellow. That is a subsidiary. Okay.
But it says here, call does not yield to any subsidiary? Where does it say that?
It says it takes, item 1, takes precedence over all motions except A, other privileged motions.
Right.
And B, motion to suspend the rules.
You see, and Richard says, yes, it yields. That's what I would say.
It yields to all other privileged motions and to any applicable incidental motions that may arise.
But you're now looking at call for orders a day. You're kind of going backwards. The question of yielding is on postpone indefinitely. Would it yield to a call for orders of the day?
Well, yeah, but if it's yielding to order of calls for order of the day, that means all calls for order of the day would have precedence.
Right.
That's what I'm looking at.
Right. And it says here, it takes precedence over all motions except
other privileged,
which isn't postponed indefinitely.
Suspend the rules.
Which isn't postponed indefinitely.
Right.
So it would take precedence over. I think C is right on here too.
It yields to other privileged motions and any applicable incidental motions. But postpone indefinitely is not incidental; it's subsidiary. So that doesn't apply.
But JJ says it doesn't yield to any subsidiary motion. I don't see that statement in here anywhere that it doesn't yield to any subsidiary motion. Where does it say that?
No subsidiary motion can be applied to the call. That's
right.
under UNTO.
So I don't.
No second, not debatable, no amendable. 2/3 set aside. Can't be. No, I don't see where that says that either.
No, so JJ gonna need citation needed, JJ. So far, I still think if I had done this, I would have been right too.
I can understand why you would say that. Now, postpone indefinitely. Let's go back to those standard characteristics.
We already looked there.
Takes precedence. That's the main question, which is applied. Lowest ranking subsidiary. Use all those subsidiary motions to all privileged motions. All privileged motions. It doesn't
exclude anything.
Exclude anything. So I think, okay. I agree with that. That the C would not. Wait a minute.
Except.
Yeah, I would say C is wrong. Yes, it would once the order becomes pending. The pending motions are all subsidiary motions.
Wait, so yes, it would yield.
Order of the day. Hang on.
Okay, here's the question. I'm going to say it again. Would a motion to postpone indefinitely yield to a call for orders of the day?
That's the question.
That's the question. Because in a question we were referring to, it said that postpone indefinitely yields to all privileged motions except call for orders of the day. And I can't see anywhere in RONR where it makes an exception for orders of the day.
And the orders for the day doesn't have the reverse exception either.
So I think this question is, and again, it's academic because
says yes.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is a shitty, but it doesn't matter because you got it. No, we're not going to vote on this. All right. So I think we settled that this is incorrect.
It's a shitty question, but I got the right answer anyway.
You did. There were two right answers, and you got one of them. But if I had
He says
Okay.
now yes. Okay.
All right. Good. We solved that
That was
then.
confusing, but okay. Where were we?
We were on 8 that I'm going to be asking you in a minute.
Okay.
We're hungry.
What do you want me to do about it?
Just listen.
To our stomachs grumble.
Are you hungry?
Well, Mike brought us some asparagus, and I could cook up some burgers with asparagus.
We just had burgers.
Do you want burgers and asparagus?
I know the asparagus.
I'm hungry.
Trust me on the asparagus. It's good asparagus, really.
You eat a burger again?
I can eat a burger again.
You don't have
Yes.
any buns.
I don't use, to me, that's
So?
like irrelevant because I don't do buns.
I may have some steaks, but I'll have to thaw them.
I don't want a steak.
But you want a burger.
I want a burger.
You and me steaks, carrot and burger
Whatever.
with asparagus. I'm going to let you cook the asparagus because you're the master of it.
Well, that's when we're trying to do this, though, too, though, Wayne.
Takes
You told me the secret on how to do it, so I can do it.
Okay, so now, because we're trying to do, yeah.
takes 5
So
minutes.
go away.
So go away, yeah.
Wayne, cook the asparagus.
So how long is it going to take to, pardon us, everyone, while we're making our lunch plans. So how long is it going to take to like what,
I have to thaw the steaks. That's going to take a half an hour, 45 minutes.
but the burgers are already thawed?
No, but they don't need to be thawed. They can be cooked.
Okay,
They can
like,
go straight to grill.
I don't want to be waiting an hour.
Do you want to just order? How long is that asparagus going to keep?
Should be fine.
A couple days?
Easily.
Okay. So we can just all order pizza or something.
Okay. You good with pizza?
As long as there's no olives.
Yeah, I hate black olives. They suck. Or green olives. Any olives. All
No
olives suck.
no olives, no pineapple. Otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah, pizza.
No pineapple?
No pineapple.
Pineapples.
This
Awesome.
ain't frickin' Hawaii.
Snooty.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
Pizza.
snooty. I like my veggies. I like my meat. I
Pizza.
don't do fruit on a pizza.
Pizza. Pizza.
Pizzas that
Yeah.
agreed upon.
Yeah. Will you?
dinner item.
Okay. Awesome.
As long as the asparagus is good for a couple days.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Just refrigerate it.
Okay. Thank you. I'm like so hungry and I don't know why because I had McDonald's already, but I'm hungry.
Well, that's why you had McDonald's.
I
You
love
didn't have-
McDonald's.
you didn't have much. Though.
Okay. All right. Now we're back. Sorry, guys. Well, we did our
We now return from our message from
Yeah.
our non-paying corporate sponsors.
yeah, and we'll take a break and then probably come back after we eat. All right. 8.
McDonald's, ConAgra, and Mike and Lydia's asparagus plot.
Are you ready, Mr. Seaback?
Yes, but the food ain't. Whatever.
Yeah. If a motion, pineapple only goes on pizza with ham and only in Hawaii. Well,
I agree. Although, frankly, I don't understand why people put fruit on pizzas.
no, I love pineapple on pizza.
If you want to put fruit on something, that's what upside down cakes are for.
But I agree, it has to have ham.
Oh yeah.
The most disgusting would be like pineapple with pepperoni or something.
Well, those flavors don't even mix.
But
Ham is neutral enough to work with the acidy flavor of the pineapple.
yeah, pineapple is good on pizza.
Yeah.
I like it.
But the spicy level of a pineapple or a sausage or a pepperoni or a sausage does not work with pineapple.
Or imagine pineapple and onions.
I love onions. I ain't doing that.
I love onions too, but that sounds nasty. All right. If another person
If an onion person.
If another person has been assigned the floor
Yes.
and has begun speaking,
Yes.
the motion to reconsider,
Yes.
A, cannot, we've done this before, A, cannot be made and cannot be called up. B, cannot be made but can be called up. C,
By whom?
can be made and can also be called up. D, can be made but cannot be called up.
Okay, wait a second. Cover the answer and show me the question.
It's like very
Another person has been assigned the floor,
and they started
and
yapping.
they start yakking. The motion to reconsider. Okay, can't be made, can't be called up. 0 and 0. Can't be made 0, but can be called up 0 1. Can be made and also called up 1 1 or 1 0. Okay, so it's a truth table question. Sorry, I'm making sense out of all this. French dressing good on pizza.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm not even sure how French dressing would taste heated up, to be honest.
Balsamic would be good too.
Alfredo sauce.
Oh, I don't like Alfredo.
On pizza?
I don't like Alfredo on anything. I don't like white sauce.
That's one of my gigs. I'll take a spaghetti, put Alfredo sauce, chicken, onions, and then top it with mozzarella and bake it in the oven.
No, I can't stand white sauce.
You can do it with spaghetti. You can do it with spaghetti sauce, but it's not good. Anyway, cannot be made, never be called up. Yes, there's a difference between in and on. Yes. On pizza is what they do in New York. In pizza, what we do in Chicago. Where the pizza pie, not ketchup on.
Answer the question, Mr. Seaback!
Answer the question!
Answer!
No! You sound like your parrot. Okay, pizza's aside. Another person's on the floor and done speaking. The motion to reconsider. I forget what the hell we said about this. So, can't be made, can't be called up. Can't be made, but can be called up. Can be made, but can be called up, or can be made, but can't be called up. I'm going to go with D, just because of having the floor, being that can be made, but cannot be called up. Because if I remember correctly, didn't we say something about they can make it, but it has to stick around and to be addressed later on?
Yeah. Well, there's all the issues with reconsider and enter on the minutes. And,
yeah,
okay.
Right.
But the answer is A.
It's A. Okay.
And the reason
and
is...
A was what again?
Cannot be made and cannot be called up.
Okay.
The reason where you missed it is because the person has actually been assigned the floor. They've been recognized.
Okay.
If they were standing and asking to be recognized but had not yet been recognized, then it could be made but not called up. The assign.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but we'll see.
I think I understand what you're saying there.
So you found it. I flipped it over immediately because I don't cheat. And
just like Alfredo sauce, she cheats.
Right here,
Section
37.
320.
And 37, I'm like I've got a headache because I'm hungry.
It's a green tab.
It's a reconsider, so it's a bring back. And your page is 320.
Yep, heading there.
And just let me know where that would be.
Standard characteristics, and that is, let's see, 125. Standard characteristic number 3.
Okay. The motion, that's not here. What does yours say? Read it.
Is in order with respect to making the motion.
Wait, let me see. What?
Right there.
Mine is totally different.
Right here. Top of the page.
Oh my God. Mine is totally different.
Well, your standard characteristic 2 is a small novel. You're still in 2 right there. That's why.
Wait.
Keep going.
Oh, I was on the wrong. I was in the intro.
Number 3. Keep going.
Yeah.
Nope. That's
Okay,
number
here's
2.
2.
Keep going. 2 is a long one.
And then you said it was number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Is in order.
Yours is longer.
Oh, wait. Mine is... Actually, I was wrong. It is in order when they assign the floor. Here's what's the key. And has begun speaking. Okay. I was wrong.
Okay, yours looks like yours is more than mine does.
Okay. It says, is in order with respect to making the motion, even after another person has been assigned the floor. So I was wrong in my explanation. Right. So long as he has not actually begun to speak.
Aha. Okay.
I mean, the answer's still right is on here. I just explained it wrong.
Keep going, though.
The calling up of a motion to reconsider is out of order when another has the floor.
Okay, that's where mine ends. What else is on yours?
A member can, however, claim preference in being recognized for the purpose of either making or calling up a motion to reconsider ahead of another who rose first for the purpose of making a new motion.
That's what I think we talked about earlier.
Right. And that's where I said they hadn't been recognized or assigned the floor. They just rose and were getting ready to be. Yeah. Okay. All right.
There's pieces to this.
So when they've been assigned and talking, it cannot be made and it cannot be called up.
Okay, Richard Brown. Hey guys, when you answer and when you give the correct answer, please don't say A or whatever. We remember, please read the full answer. We can do that.
Derpy derp. So A, it cannot be made and it cannot be called up.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, good observation there because we get in our own little world here.
Because we have it in front of us, yes.
Yeah.
Well, go out and buy the calendar. No, I'm kidding. This is the old one.
I am so stiff.
That's what she said. That's what he said.
Oh, well.
If she said it, that's a different story.
Well, yeah.
Carol Moore can just
leave it alone.
She can lump it. Okay. It's not that cold down here. Thursday the 9th.
Thursday.
Or May 9th.
Or whatever.
Thursday the 9th of 2 years ago of May, yes. Okay. When may a special committee to which a question was referred begin its work? A. Only after an announcement of its membership is made, unless otherwise authorized by a vote of the Assembly. B. Any time after its appointment. C. After the chair of the committee calls the first meeting. Or D. All of the above.
What are the question answers again?
Okay. A special committee has had a question referred to it.
Mm-hmm.
When can they start working on it?
Mm-hmm.
A. Only after an announcement of its membership is made, unless otherwise authorized by a vote of the Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
B. Any time after its appointment. C. After the chair of the committee calls the first meeting. Or D. All of the above.
It can't be D, because some of those are mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I mean, if it's any time after their appointment, that would mean including any time before the chair calls the first meeting.
Right.
So
B precludes C and vice versa.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they're both wrong. It means that one of them's wrong. Or one of them could be wrong.
Well,
don't throw guesses at us.
Well, you can throw a guess because you don't know. He's guessing.
Yeah.
Guesses are fine, but like the two parliamentarians in the room need to shut up until we. Okay, what was it again? ABC. Forget about D.
Okay. Only A is only A.
Is right.
Only after an announcement of its membership is made,
Okay.
unless otherwise authorized by vote of the Assembly.
Okay.
B. Any time after its appointment.
Okay.
C. After the chair of the committee calls the first meeting. D. We said don't worry about.
See, logically, I think it's C, but I have a feeling that's wrong. But that's what I think it is. So C.
And the answer is A.
Why?
Only after an announcement of its membership is made, unless otherwise authorized by a vote of
I
the
don't
Assembly.
get that.
I think. Okay. Without looking at the reference, I'm going to make a thought here.
See, both Damon, you're fine because like you're part of the hoi polloi like us.
Yeah. I think it has to do with the fact that it is a special committee, but I could be wrong. You know.
So the chair. So what they're saying is the chair can call a meeting, but they can't do any work because the members haven't been publicly announced.
Apparently so. This is section 13, which of course is commit.
That seems kind of weird to me.
Page 175, 15 to 17, which is section 13, and it is under the section named naming members. You see why I got my tongue tied there. To a special committee.
What section?
13. Commit or refer.
Okay, and where?
It's under a section titled Naming Members to a Special Committee. It's a little ways after further rules and explanation. Right before the designating the committee chairman.
Naming members to a special committee. So it's
Yeah.
1315. Okay.
Yeah, it goes farther down than that.
Yeah, I'm just saying the title of it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of that first paragraph in the section.
I see.
The committee cannot act before such an announcement of its membership is made unless authorized by vote of the Assembly. All right, let me walk back a little bit because that's just repeating the answer. Okay, let's start at the beginning of the paragraph. It's a little long, but bear with us.
Yes.
Naming members to a special committee. A standing or special committee may include or even have it as its chairman one or more persons who are not members of the Assembly or the Society. But if the chair appoints the committee, the names of all such non-members being appointed must be submitted to the Assembly for approval, unless the bylaws or the motion to appoint the committee specifically authorizes the presiding officer to appoint non-members. When a motion to refer to a special committee has been adopted, no business except privileged matters can intervene until selection of the committee members is completed. Except that if the chair is to appoint the committee, he can, if he wishes and time permits, state that he will announce the names of its members later. Okay, so that right there takes Well, no, that doesn't take any of them out.
Right, because that deals with the society's chair, not the committee chair.
In such a case, however, the committee must be left with reasonable time to accomplish its purpose after the names of its members have been announced for the record, and any non-society members have been approved as necessary under the rules stated at the beginning of this paragraph in a meeting of the assembly. The committee cannot act before such an announcement of its membership is made unless otherwise authorized by a vote of the assembly. Okay, so what they're saying in this whole thing is that
because it's I guess, yeah, it's just a weird thing, I guess, about a special committee. You have to make sure there's been a public announcement of the members.
Exactly.
And if that hasn't happened, the committee chair can call a meeting all he wants. They can't do anything.
Right, because that's what it comes back to. So my suspicion is because it was a special committee was right, but
it's just weird though.
Yeah, I didn't have the full reasoning behind it.
I still don't get it, but I
think what they're getting at there is that if you've got a special committee and there may be people who aren't members of your society in the in the committee, you have to let people know who the hell's on there. Because if the committee is going to have its proceedings available to everybody, they need to know who to talk to or whatever. Yeah. That's my only thing I can come up with on that. Yeah. But that also kind of applies to almost any committee.
Yeah, so I'm just going to take that as an arbitrary rule that I need to memorize.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a good practice anyway.
Yeah, I mean, C, I suspected C was wrong, but C was my gut, and... What'd I do?
It was over here.
Oh, it doesn't really matter at this point because we're keeping track, but... Yeah. And C was Damon's gut too. So
after the chair, and I can understand why it would be after the chair calls the first meeting, because what the hell are you gonna do before then?
Yeah. So if it wasn't an issue. Okay. Let's pretend everyone has been announced. Yeah. Then that question then it would be right. Mm-hmm. Then you'd still have to wait for the first meeting. You can't do something without that, unless you're Colorado, which they did what they want anyway.
Let's back up one dumb question here. What exactly is a special committee?
It's one that's not required by standing rules or the bylaws.
Okay.
It's like an ad hoc committee.
An ad hoc? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Just to be clear.
Okay.
Dave has a comment.
Yeah, he was saying what you were saying.
Yes, the member special committee has to be voted on or appointed, and it has to be public record. Yeah. That's what we're getting at.
All right.
Which raises the question, now that I've been appointed to the National Platform Committee, when word gets out about that...
That's not a special committee.
Right, but how many people are going to panic and say, oh shit, we got to get somebody up here to derail him?
Most people don't pay any attention to who gets appointed to platform, to be honest with you. I have already made a public record of
Aaron's going to crap his pants, I think.
Who?
Aaron might crap his pants.
Maybe, maybe not. He might end up being on it for California, because California gets an appointment.
But only for California, hopefully. No, so unless I have a repeat of that crazy.
No, he's not an LNC appointment.
Thank God.
Though
that was nuts before.
The LNC has two matters before. A, needs to appoint a new interim chair because Lauren resigned. But also, we never designated our ranked alternates. We had a 4-way tie for the 5th spot.
Yikes.
And we broke it, but never... made a decision.
Never decided who was below
the 3.
That. Yeah.
You know, what I think our intent was, it would be 1, 2, 3 of the ranked alternates of those 3.
Right.
And if that's the case, I think Starchild ends up on the committee. I don't know though. I think he was the next highest vote getter. Mm. So I don't know if we're going to be voting between those 3. Like who's now going to take this spot? I don't know. And I could be wrong, so nobody. But I think Starchild was the next highest.
Roll a 6-sided die with multiples of 2.
So I'm not sure. That will be resolved this weekend.
3, yeah.
We'll decide the ranked alternates, and I'm sure. And I asked in my email to the chairs. Oh, you didn't see that. Anyone who is, unless you're watching the LNC, I asked them. The deadline to appoint for the states is December 31st, but I did ask them to appoint earlier if they can.
Right.
But
we did ours last week, so.
There's always one that holds out. It's usually Georgia. Georgia does not get an appointment this year.
Okay. Not enough national members?
Yeah. They didn't have enough national. They filed. The 15, I don't think I can remember them off the top of my head, but it's Colorado, New Hampshire, Wyoming, New Mexico, New York, Illinois, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, California. Did I say Florida already?
No, you did not.
Florida. Michigan. Missing 2.
Washington?
Washington. There's one more.
Not Oregon. You mentioned Texas?
I believe I mentioned Texas.
Um,
I mentioned Pennsylvania, Virginia.
Ohio?
I mentioned Ohio.
You mentioned-
Illinois.
You mentioned Illinois.
I mentioned Illinois?
I thought you did.
I don't think I did.
Oh.
So those are the
Yeah.
15 that get appointments.
That's weird.
Oh, no. I did mention Illinois, Alaska.
Okay, how does Alaska wind up considering
Per
they don't have a lot
capita.
of people in it? Per capita? Okay.
They always end up in per capita. So those are the 15 that get appointments.
Got it. Okay. Because their
Um,
capita is lousy, but their per capita is good.
and you want to know what's going to save Colorado's ass is we're not top 10 any longer. So for 2024, we're not going to get it through the top 10, but we always get in through per capita as well.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I haven't put in the 2020 census numbers yet. This is still based on the 2010.
You might want to explain the difference there.
What do you mean?
Everybody, per capita versus the top ones.
There's 10 platform committee seats that are granted to the affiliates with the top national sustaining members. That favors obviously bigger states because nobody's going to have as
More-
many
more
national
people.
members as California.
Right. They're 10% of the 10% of every convention.
Right. And 5 seats are for the nations having the highest national members per capita.
Okay.
You calculate the per capita ones first. So whatever those 5 are.
Mhm.
Colorado technically gets in under per capita because we're in that. Then you go to the top 10. If any of those top 10 are also in the per capita, you strike them from the top 10. So Colorado got struck, and then number 11 moves up.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's how Michigan got in.
Uh-huh.
Michigan is number 11, but they only got in because Colorado appeared on both lists.
Aha, got it.
To me, I don't know. I think we should get 2. But that's not the way it works.
Personally, I think that well, not necessarily the platform, but definitely the bylaws.
Bylaws states don't get any
No,
appointments.
the LNC does an appointment. Frankly, that's should go die in a fire. But
I think it should be, I don't know what would be better.
well, we had a proposal at the state which didn't get heard last week, which I wrote, which would have put the election of our state bylaws committee in the hand of the convention delegates and take it completely out of the hands of the board.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to do that with a national convention, though.
Not necessarily that, but but if they wanted to take the bylaws and do it the same way they did platform, where the appointments are taken, if not totally, and then mostly out of the hands of the LNC, then I'd be happy with that because there's a fundamental problem with the
It needs to
idea-
be out of the hands of the LNC.
right, because the bylaws committee is proposing the rules for how the LNC operates. You don't want to have those people, setting their own rules as a conflict of interest. There, by
Well, I
definition.
don't mind LNC members being on the bylaws. I just don't think they should be appointed by fellow LNC members. If they get appointed by their state, okay.
Yeah.
But how would you take... Well, I think the bylaws committee should be bigger.
There's only 10.
It's only 10, but it used to be bigger and they made it smaller. I don't know why. So there could be a good reason for it only being 10. But in order to encourage national memberships, if we're going to keep it at 10, I think it should be the 5 top national members per sheer numbers and the 5 per capita.
Similar to the platform, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that. Because there's no LNC appointees to the platform committee, is there?
Yeah, 5.
Oh, 5, okay.
There's 5. I would have no problem with the bylaws committee also being 20 people and having it the exact same formula as platform.
I could live with that, yeah.
But having the LNC appoint it, the LNC doesn't appoint anybody to credentials.
That's the chickens guarding the hen house.
I mean, they
decide
do.
who
Excuse
wants
me.
chicken
No, they
dinner.
do appoint. They appoint half of credentials. I don't know what happened to me here. They appoint half of credentials, and then the top 5 states get. But I think bylaws needs to come from the state.
We're not on that list this year either.
We've never been top
Credentials.
5 national
For
BSM.
credentials, yeah.
Yeah, we could be, but we never have been.
Right.
That's a goal. So yeah, but
We have the ability to accommodate that in our state bylaws if it ever happens.
I need to though. Now I got to start working on delegate apportionment, which was easy in 2020 because we didn't have new census figures, so I could use a lot of Alicia's work. Now I've got to put in all the new census numbers.
Once they come out.
They're out.
All of them?
They're out. Well, at least the ones I need are.
Okay.
The
Colorado's numbers are so jacked up because of our census. Our redistricting commissions are stuck waiting on this crap.
No,
And
Dan
we're
Fishman's
we're
wife.
supposed to pick up a new congressional seat. Nobody don't seems to know where the hell they're going to put it because we have the numbers yet.
The numbers are out. I don't know about for that. The population numbers are out. Dan Fishman's wife works for the Census Bureau, and I went and looked and saw there were numbers, and I asked, "Are those the official?" And they are. Mm-hmm. I can give you the chart, the link to the chart.
Say word for it.
So I got to work on that, and math is not my strong point.
We have this goofy formula to figure it out.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet for it, but I still got to double check. I can't always rely upon the formulas.
Put the numbers in, yeah.
All right, whose turn is it now?
I just asked that one, so it's up to you. So it's you.
So it's me asking you.
Correct.
Okay, here we go.
Because I just handed it off to you after I pulled the sheet off.
The one thing. So I think October 31st is the deadline for delegate allocation memberships. That's the cutoff, which means LPCO needs to kick some ass to get us back up. Because right now we're going to have less delegate seats than we've had in 4 years because the past board did not make national membership a priority. And Wayne and I were the one doing it. Mm-hmm. And since we were being treated like shit, we were like Von Goo.
Mm-hmm. Then I can understand why.
I'm not going to do work and get shit on. Continuing. So, October 31st, and then everyone will know their delegate allocations November. Mm-hmm. And there's someone, is it Jeff in the Mises Caucus? He says he doesn't owe me $100, but he owes me $100. We're sitting here in a powwow, and he's trying to tell me when the date is for delegate allocations. And I'm like, Jeff, I'm the national secretary who does this thing. You really want to argue with me about what the date is? I said, I'll bet you $100. And he was very cocky about it, but then I don't see $100 in my, because I was right. Pay up. Anyway, let's continue. The 10th.
Yes.
The standard descriptive characteristics.
Well, that's delightfully all over the place.
Yes. of the motions to rescind.
Okay.
And to amend it something previously amended.
Okay.
What? Amend something previously amended?
That's a typo. It's got to be something previously adopted.
I've seen this typo before in their thing. Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to let me start over.
That's good.
The standard descriptive characteristics of the motions to rescind and to amend something previously adopted include the following.
Okay.
A. Can be applied to anything which has continuing force and was adopted by one or more main motions. B. Debate is permitted to go into the merits of the question which is proposed to rescind or amend. C. Yields to subsidiary, privileged, and incidental motions. D. All of the above are correct.
D.
You are correct. Bastard, I'm really... Man, you are fucking me over.
No, I'm not. That's your husband's job.
Yeah, and you're taking it. You're just bending me over here, boy.
You're the one who said at the convention that we're on the same page, but if we were married, we'd kill each other. So,
we would.
Yes.
That would be very bloody.
No, the reason my reasoning on all that was very simple. I was thinking the motion.
So I don't see it.
Motion to amend something previously adopted is what the real motion is for a proposed bylaws or platform amendment.
Right.
So my brain fell into that line of thinking to think it out.
I don't even think we need to go to this section. Obviously, it can be applied to anything which has continuing force.
Right.
And was adopted by one or more main motions.
Right, because a motion to amend something previously adopted is a main motion.
What?
It is a main motion, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. B, this is the only one where people may be unclear, and it's just the way it is. There's just the way it is.
It's debatable. Yeah.
No, it's not just debatable as to the motion itself. It's debatable as to the underlying motion. So when so debate is permitted to go into the merits of the question, which is being proposed to rescind or amend.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Unless notice requirements or your bylaws itself limit that. Like, for instance, on our motion to amend something previously adopted being of the bylaws, because of our strict notice requirements, you really can't debate the underlying bylaw, because unless you've given notice that you want to strike it or amend it in some other way, it's... I mean, you can get into the merits of it, but it's not going to do any good.
If we had a pure motion to rescind a bylaw and replace it with nothing, then you're going into debate of the underlying issue of the whole thing.
And
we practically never have that.
No.
It doesn't happen. It's just very rare.
And even if it's to amend it, you can still, like, debate the issue of the underlying bylaw, but it'll do you no good because there's nothing you can do about it because of notice.
Did you lose a nail?
Did I?
There's one on the floor.
I lost that one yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I found it. Or you found
I
it.
was looking at your nails and I'm looking down like, wait a minute.
I'm glad you found that. You're wondering, you're like, wait.
Did you lose one?
You're like, all of them, do you have an 11th finger you're not telling me about?
I need to break up the tiniest violin because you're broken now. I mean...
I lost it yesterday moving a box and then I couldn't find it.
There.
Okay, continuing. And it yields.
Right. Subsidiaries, subsidiary amendments, privilege, orders of the day, call the question.
So I don't think we even need to go into. I mean, this is that like basic. It's
pretty straightforward.
It's pretty parliamentary 101.
Okay, and I think I did mark it up there.
Okay, yeah, you did because you're kicking my ass.
Boom, baby, boom, baby, boom. Anyway. Okay.
I better maybe I should start distracting you. I need to take every advantage that I can.
Do you need to go put a corset on?
I'm going to need to start unbuttoning and leaning over.
My wife would laugh at that.
Oh, boy.
Okay. To watch the full video later. Will it be available that way or only day by day?
It will be in full on Cult of RONR and on Facebook, and then we do chop it up as well and re-release.
Yeah. So, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion to... What?
Motion to... What?
Okay, I'm not sure if this is a typo or not.
It probably is, because they don't have a proofreader apparently there.
Yeah. The same motion... Why same? I don't know.
What?
That's not...
Is that how it starts?
Yes!
What's the referent?
I don't know. Well, let me read the full question. The same motion to fix the time to which to adjourn.
What do you mean the same emotion?
No, that's what I was like, what? Colon. A, cannot be reconsidered. B, can be renewed at the same meeting. C, cannot be renewed at the same meeting at which it was voted down. Or D, cannot be made at an adjourned meeting. I have no idea
Okay.
what the same motion part of this is.
I would just say,
Okay, let me try it without the same.
Yeah.
Okay. The motion to fix the time to which to adjourn.
Got it.
A, cannot be reconsidered. B, can be renewed at the same meeting. C, cannot be renewed at the same meeting at which it was voted down. Or D, cannot be made at an adjourned meeting.
D is wrong. What was A?
Cannot be reconsidered.
What was B?
Can be renewed at the same meeting.
That's all it says?
Yes.
Can be. I thought there was more words to that before. B.
You're saying B?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is C.
Is it? What is C?
Cannot be renewed at the same meeting at which it was voted down.
Huh. I wonder why. I just wouldn't have known that. Why can't it be renewed at the same meeting?
Okay, reference is section 38. No, that's section 46. That's not it. 43, 41, 37. Getting closer. Under renewal, that makes sense. 339, 22 to 30.
What section?
38.
I'm sucking today. I am sucking today.
That's what he said.
Where now? What? Tell me where. Tell me where to go.
This is 339, 22 to 30, which is under the section motions that can be renewed at a later meeting of the same session.
But we're not talking about a later meeting of the same session, are we?
Comment from Jonathan, from JJ.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Same equals motion to reconvene at the same time and place. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is under... Okay, this is... The section title is motions that can be renewed at a later meeting of the same session.
Motion, right, but let me see the question again,
Yeah.
because this wasn't at a later...
This is...
Oh, it doesn't even say.
This is the second bullet point underneath the main...
This is talking about the same meeting, so later meeting has nothing to do with anything.
Right. Let's see what's the correct answer.
Cannot be renewed at the same meeting.
At which it was voted
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Which cannot be renewed at the same meeting. Okay, but different question. At another meeting. Got it.
Yeah.
I see.
And the second bullet farther down there.
Yes.
In your case, item 2. Right here.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. The same motion at which to fix the time to which to adjourn. That is a motion to set that same date, hour, and place for an adjourned
Just like
meeting.
he said. I got
Cannot
it.
be renewed at the same meeting at which is voted down. But if after the first motion is rejected, the Assembly decides to set an adjourned meeting for an earlier time than proposed in the first motion, then at the adjourned meeting is in order to move them. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it's right there.
Okay. Yeah, I just...
Yeah.
Can it be... It cannot be reconsidered. Why can't it be reconsidered? See, I thought it could be reconsidered. So let me go to the back
Following
here.
are 2 cases of motions which cannot be renewed at the same meeting, but which may...
So I want to go to the chart in the back here.
I'm going to look at the standard characteristics.
Fixed time to which to adjourn. Now we know what the same thing
Or
means.
close enough, yeah. Two general principles.
It can be reconsidered, but it can't be renewed.
Yes, you did just read French dressing on a pizza, Aaron.
Yes. Yes, Aaron, you did. Okay, so it can be reconsidered. That is an indirect way kind of to renew it by reconsidering it, to hear it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two motions to whoa. Two motions to fix time. Let me scroll up just a hair here. Oh, there we go. Okay, JJ says, 2 motions to fix time. Someone moves to meet at 10 p.m. tomorrow, defeated, and someone else later moves to meet tomorrow at 10 p.m.
And that's the same thing?
I would say it's the same thing.
Right.
And I would argue that the first one was defeated, the second one would be out of order.
Right, because you can't renew it,
Yeah.
is according to that.
Yeah.
You can reconsider it, though. You can reconsider the first no vote.
Yeah. But that's not reconsider. That'd be technically a different motion, but that can't be. That's weird.
You can reconsider it, which is when you reconsider it, you're hearing it as if for the first time again.
What does Richard say right below that?
He just is saying it can be reconsidered.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Okay.
That's an odd one.
I suck today.
That's what he said.
I was up late doing those platform things
For what?
for national.
For putting me on the mailing list at 3:50 in the morning?
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was working all night,
What else are we doing on the platform?
figuring out who got appointments, all of them, to send out the announcement to the states, and
So it wasn't just me then. Okay, got it.
I was working my tail off, and I had finished my secretary's report.
Remember, you're the one who said you'll sleep when you're dead.
Yep, which is true. So I've got a policy and procedures committee report to do tonight. I got a lot of reports to do.
And that's just one level of being secretary.
That's the hard one. The other ones aren't hard.
That's what she
The
said.
the county one is. I do the minutes when I'm sitting there. There's like nothing that goes on at the county. Hopefully, if we start doing enough at the county, it'll be too hard to do it, and then I will give up that job.
Yeah.
But right now, it's simple. Okay.
Next.
It's a Sunday, so I think JJ sent me another paper. I think he sent me another article we could look
JJ,
at.
did you send another paper?
Yeah.
Since you're listening.
It wasn't on the Censure. There was another one. Let me look up his email address and find it. So it's JJ Parliament.
There it is.
Do you have 2 email addresses? Let's try this. That's barbed. What's this one? Points of order. This is an older one, though, I think. Here's an article on putting a motion from the floor. Okay. Let me see what this is. Where is it? You sent me the whole damn thing. Tell me what page number it's on. Okay, let's look at
There's
the...
only 52 pages. Okay, there we go.
Putting a motion from floor. So page 7. Let's see if this is something... Because I don't even remember what this was about.
5, 6, 7. There you go. Whoops. Oh, he wrote it. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There he is.
Well, let's let me download this and let's put this on the screen. So let me pay attention to where I downloaded it. I downloaded it into Show Assets. So let's come over here and open up
Show Assets.
Show Assets. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Wait, it's not there though. Isn't that Show Assets? And it's not there. Why isn't it there? Oh no, there it is. I'm such a dumbass. Okay, it's right there.
It's hiding in plain sight, folks.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. So let me go to page 7.
It'll have JJ's picture on it.
There we go. Okay, so let's discuss this.
Okay.
Okay, you can. I read the last, so you can read. You do the honors this time.
Okay. Get the right range so I can see this with my glasses on.
Because you're an old man.
Yeah, I know. Putting a motion from the floor is one of those procedures that is often discussed on the internet, but is not often seen in real life. It is usually an indication that the chair has failed in his duty to properly preside. Roberts certainly has that orientation. It lists the process for putting motions from the floor under the heading Remedies for Abuse of Authority by the Chair in a Meeting, Roberts 11, 650, 1819. Most often, putting the motion from the floor is due to the chair failing to perform a duty. That is not always the case, however. Hold on, don't scroll on right and read. In some cases, they can protect the chair. In some cases, they can protect the chair. What is the procedure for putting the motion from the floor? How does it work? The situation occurs in abstract when the chair refuses to rule on a point of order or entertain an appeal. A motion may, as part of this process, be put from the floor. Roberts 650, line 20 to 651, line 14. In all cases, this must occur. Simply ruling a motion out of order will not trigger it. There are several variations. First, there is the chair's refusal to entertain a motion that is not an appeal. Member Smith recognized, quote, I move that the Society award the Whiteside Award to Dr. Lane Marion, unquote, seconded. The chair, Mr. Willis, who does not think Dr. Marion deserves the award.
I don't think he deserves the award either. I'm with you, Mr. Chair. Sorry.
Either ignores the motion or says flat out, the chair will not entertain the question. At this point, any member can raise a point of order that the chair has ignored or refused to state a properly made motion, but is not ruled out of order, 650, 21 to 30. Member Adams stands up and says, point of order, the chair must either state the motion or rule it out of order, unquote. Mr. Willis refuses to even acknowledge the point of order. Mr. Adams repeats it again and still gets no answer. He repeats it a third time and again gets no answer. He may then put the point of order from the floor, 650, 35 to 651, 1, in the following manner. Is the point of order that the chair must either state the motion or rule out of order well taken, unquote. The motion is undebatable, 650, 1 to 35, so Mr. Adams would then call the vote and announce the result.
Let's look at those pages. That's interesting. I've never heard of such a thing.
This is 650? Okay.
So basically, Adams in this case is kind of acting like the chair pro tem.
Okay. The section is section 62.
Okay. I'd never heard of this.
Yeah. Removal from office or other remedies for dereliction of duty in office or misconduct. That's not a title, it's a paragraph.
Where? I'm sorry.
Section 62.
Yeah, but...
Line 650.
Oh, okay. So...
Or page 6. I haven't gotten the actual line.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, so it starts down at line 20, which is remedies for abuse of authority by chair and meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Enforcing points of order and appeals is what this is under.
Okay.
If the chair at the meeting acts improperly, for example, fails to recognize a member entitled to floor, or ignores a motion properly made and seconded that is not dilatory, and neither states the question on the motion nor rule is out of order, a point of order may be raised. From the chair's decision, an appeal may be taken. This procedure enables the majority to ensure enforcement of the rules unless the chair ignores the point of order, ignores the appeal, or fails to act in accordance with the Assembly's decision on the appeal. If the chair ignores the point of order that is not dilatory, the member can repeat the point of order a second and third time, and if the chair still ignores it, the member standing in his place can immediately put the point of order to a vote without debate. The question may be put as, quote, is the point of order that ... well taken, which is exactly what JJ says in the article here. If the point of order was that the chair improperly ignored another motion, the member may, instead of repeating the point of order, repeat the original motion, and if it is seconded, the chair still ignores it, may, standing in his place, put the ignored motion to vote without debate. Likewise, if the chair ignores an appeal appropriately made and seconded, asterisk, a member can repeat the appeal, and if despite it being seconded, the chair ignores it again, the member can repeat a third time, and if it is again seconded but still ignored by the chair, the member can immediately, standing in his place, put the appeal to a vote without debate. The question may be put as, quote, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? There's a hole on my page there. The asterisk as mentioned. An appeal is not allowed from the chair's ruling on a question about which there cannot possibly be two reasonable opinions, and is out of order in certain other circumstances. But in such cases, the chair must announce that the appeal is out of order for the relevant reason, not simply ignore the appeal unless the appeal is dilatory.
And I think this was originally sent to me because of something that had happened at the Pennsylvania meeting, where the chair had believed on a bylaws interpretation that there was not two reasonable opinions.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't handle it exactly properly. He kind of simply ignored the appeal in a way, but things weren't really run according to the book there.
Mm-hmm.
But the argument there was that the chair was ignoring it because he just didn't like the implications, where I was saying, listen, if you're going to look at everything in the best possible light, it was his opinion that there was no ambiguity. Like there just wasn't. And it's his job as the final bulwark against violating the bylaws. And if he really believed there was no ambiguity, you can't create an ambiguity just because you want to bring in a bunch of members. So he might not have handled it by the book, but he was ultimately, I think, right.
So did he actually rule on the point of order one way or the other?
No, he didn't. He wouldn't entertain a point of order on it. He's like, there's not two, this isn't ambiguous.
Okay.
It wasn't handled exactly to, but let's...
the asterisk here says the appeal of the from the ruling of the chair is not allowed when there can't be two reasonable opinions. It doesn't say about the point of order.
Well, he ruled. No, he did rule. He ruled that there was no ambiguity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And he wasn't allowing an appeal.
Okay, so we're down to right here now.
Yeah.
Okay, if the result of the vote is that the point of order is well taken, Mr. Adams, or presumably Mr. Smith, may then repeat the motion, i.e. that the Society award the White Society award to Dr. Lane Marion. If seconded, and the chair, Mr. Willis, still refuses to put that motion, Mr. Smith can put the motion from the floor without debate. A second case is where the chair does rule on the point of order, but declines to put an appeal. Okay, this sounds more like Pennsylvania. For example, member Anders recognizes, says, quote, I move that the society contribute $200 to the ASNEM Society, whatever the hell that is, seconded. The motion in this hypothetical case does not violate any rule. The chair, Mr. Schauler, does not think the ASNEM Society needs the money and his own organization needs it more.
Yeah.
He says, quote, the chair rules the motion out of order. He has ruled but not stated why. The chair in general does have a duty to rule dilatory motions out of order and to rule a motion out of order that actually is out of order. In theory, he has no specific duty to explain his decision at this point, although he may. Another member, Mr. Patton, rises and moves to appeal from the decision of the chair, which is seconded. At this point, the chair must either entertain the appeal or reasonable opinion. Or rule the appeal out of order and state the reason for the decision. The only ground for this, in this case, for ruling an appeal out of order is that there cannot possibly be two reasonable opinions on the ruling. So
and that's
the asterisk we just mentioned.
And that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Now, did I agree with the chair that there wasn't two reasonable interpretations? No.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe he believed it.
Okay.
And I went to him and said, here's what I think might be another reasonable interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't agree with his judgment, but I do believe he came by his judgment honestly.
Okay. Let's go down a little farther here. Right here. Okay, Mr. Schaller, the chair, either ignores the appeal or rules it out of order on some ground for which there can be two reasonable opinions. E.g., the chair rules the appeal out of order on the ground that our society needs the money more than they do. In these cases, Mr. Pattern may repeat the motion to appeal again. If the seconded the second time and still not entertained, he may repeat a third time. If it's seconded at that third time and the chair still refuses to entertain the appeal, Mr. Patton may put the appeal from his place on the floor. This appeal is always undebatable. If his appeal is successful, the chair should put the motion. Presumably, if the chair does not, the motion that the society, etc., and so on, may be put by Mr. Anders. These two cases illustrate the situation where chairs fail to perform a duty of office. That duty is to enforce the rules of the assembly, whether those rules deal with debate, decorum, or order within the assembly. 450, 911. There are times when the chair faithfully performs There are times when the chair faithfully performs those duties, but the assembly or a majority of the members voting do not. At the regular monthly meeting of society, Mr. Shively is recognized and says, quote, I move to raise our dues by striking out $50 and inserting $1,000 in Article 3, Section 3 of the bylaws. Seconded. The chair, Mr. James, is surprised by the motion. He has never heard this before. No notice, guys. The bylaws, as they relate to amendment, are identical to the one found in the sample bylaws in Robert's 11th, 588, 13-15. He looks at the minutes of the previous regular meeting and sees no previous notice. He presided over that meeting, and neither he nor the secretary remembers notice being given. He looks around the room and notes that while a quorum is present, at least 3/4 of the entire membership is absent. He might even take the unusual step of asking Mr. Shively if Mr. Shively gave notice. If he asked, Mr. Shively will indicate no notice was given. However, even though the question has not been stated by the chair, he declines to withdraw the motion. Mr. James's chair says, while notice may be given at the meeting for this amendment, Article 9 of the bylaws requires previous notice be given in writing of this amendment before it can be considered. The bylaws are clear and unambiguous. Roberts notes on 250 that an action taken in violation of rule protecting absentees is out of order. The requirement for notice is such a rule. The chair rules that the proposed bylaw amendment is out of order on the grounds of lacking proper notice. The secretary records this verbatim in the minutes, 470, 15-17. Mr. Shively appeals from the decision of the chair, which is seconded. The chair rules the question out of order correctly on the grounds there cannot be two reasonable opinions on the matter. 256, 34, 36. Mr. Shively again appeals, and that appeal is again seconded. This time, the chair ignores the appeal, as was previously ruled out of order. Mr. Shively appeals for a third time, and the third time it is seconded. Mr. James, as chair, ignores the appeal. Then Mr. Shively puts the appeal from his place on the floor, and it is adopted. The bylaw amendment becomes the pending question, should Mr. James put the question. Roberts is not clear on that point, at least not directly. This author would conclude, this is JJ, that he should not. In this case, there are several reasons for that conclusion. A 20-fold increase in dues certainly could be subject to litigation, which would likely reverse the action. Even putting a motion that Mr. James knows that his rule is out of order might open up the liability. Likewise, the next regular meeting might very well be packed with most of the 3/4 of the membership that was not at this meeting. Not putting the question can be a clear indication to them that with their support, the decision would be overturned. There are both potential legal and political reasons. The main reason is purely procedural. It is the duty of the chair to follow the rules of the assembly. Even if this were about an appeal of the chair's decision that postponed indefinitely was out of order, when applied to a motion to refer a main motion to a committee, that duty to enforce the rules remains. Mr. James still has that duty to enforce the rules, even if the assembly wishes to violate those rules. You can't suspend the bylaws. Putting a motion from the floor, is a double-edged procedural sword. It can usually does protect the majority from a presiding officer violating the rules that are in force. It can also protect the dutiful presiding officer from a majority violating the rules that are in force.
Okay, that's very interesting.
That's a hell of a good article there, JJ.
Yeah, I didn't know a member could even do. We've never that's really in the weeds.
I don't think we've ever seen that happen before.
Yeah. So, and
to be fair, I could think of quite a few cases where that could wind up happening on a national convention.
Or even in our state.
Crazy, yeah.
Now, just in theory, say Asnam backwards. Mensa?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So, in Pennsylvania, though, let's say a member then put it from the floor without debate.
Yeah.
They didn't have the votes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would have made a difference. And if it had, I think the Pennsylvania party would have been like enormously divided over that, even to this day.
Civil War.
Like, even though the people who are unhappy with the decision, I do think ultimately recognize that they should have been paying attention to the bylaws. It was all about the seasoning requirement, which is allowed to be waived in Pennsylvania.
Right.
I think right now it was
traditionally been waived in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. It has to be by a certain vote, and they chose not to.
For the first time in a long time.
And here is, well, allegedly, I haven't looked at any of the past records. I'm taking everyone's word for it.
Right.
Like, because the number seems to be growing with the telling. At first, I heard it hasn't been waived in 15 years. Now I'm hearing it hasn't been waived in 30 years.
When I was just a little libertarian 50 years ago, we started doing this.
I can easily accept that in recent memory. Probably hasn't. But when you start going back 15 years, I start to get a little...
Way back in 1871.
Yeah. But I will say that provision has always been in their bylaws, as far as I can tell. So it is something that's existed for that long.
Yeah.
But what they tried to do, and what the chair ruled there wasn't two reasonable alternatives for, is they tried to divide the group of people who didn't make the seasoning requirements into two separate groups: those who live out of state and those who live in state. And the bylaws treats them as one group.
The ones just haven't met the seasoning requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
And the chair said, since the bylaws deals with them as one group, it's indivisible. You either take them all or you take none.
Which is a rational interpretation.
It is a rational, I think, but that's what it all came down to, and I could be forgetting some other salient points here. But that's what happened. So when that decision was appealed, he basically ignored it and said, he said, he didn't say, I'm not taking this appeal. Great. How do I get rid of that?
Hit the.
I can't hit it here.
Have to on the phone. Excuse us when we have this important.
I should have
technical
stuck it.
difficulties.
I'm not disturbed. You like my ringtone?
They're like minions.
Thank you.
Whatever the hell that is.
It's an old Twitter video when Twitter first came out.
It's the synchrony thing.
Oh, it's I know what it's about. Stupid. It's a credit card company bugging me.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah, because
I know who they are.
You already know. Like, I'm trying to catch up on bills. Yeah, they call me like 15 times a day, and it's like, I'm gonna pay you when I have the money. You yelling at me is not gonna get you paid any faster. So
it's like the old thing. Why do banks charge you a $35 overdraft fee for money you don't have in the first place?
Yeah, this isn't a bank.
I know, but it's the same vein. It's like, what point does that serve, guys?
Yeah, it's
like if I don't have, if it counts as zero, I don't have 35 extra on top of that zero to give you.
Anyway, so yeah, that whole Pennsylvania thing. But I do think the chair came by his opinions honestly. I know people disagree with me on that, but whatever. Okay, yeah. So, and look, now I did lose one that I need to glue on. It's right here.
Oh, yeah, your hand? Okay.
I got to glue it back on.
Just remember...
So that was Sunday. So we all, I think, learned something. Yes. I did not know about that. That is really in the weeds.
That was good stuff. Okay.
We have such a distinguished author in our midst.
That was a good article, JJ.
I liked it.
Okay. The 13th of May. Oh, we're back to commit again.
Okay.
There's a lot of committing going on in May. What the hell?
Oh, shit. I'm almost out of soda.
I'm almost out too, so
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm sure pizza's coming soon, so we'll be taking a break soon.
Yes. Okay. This is commit.
Okay, we're going to finish this last day, and then we'll be up.
Okay. This is pretty straightforward. Standard descriptive characteristics of commit
Okay.
applies to which of the following motions? A. Applies equally to the 3 variations of commit and to commit itself.
What? I don't understand. What? So all of the standard descriptive characteristics are saying
Yes.
applies. Okay.
To which of the following motions?
Okay.
The 3 variations of commit and to commit itself. That's A.
I don't even know what the 3 variations of commit are.
B. Applies only to commit. C. Applies to commit and consider informally. Or D. Applies to commit and go into committee of the whole. Okay. The 3 variations of commit. I think I'll give you. I'll give you help on this
it's
one. Committee of the whole, consider informally, quasi committee of the whole.
Okay.
That's what they're referring to.
Okay. So go again now. So
Okay.
the standard descriptive characteristics of motion to commit.
Yes. Applies to which of the following motions? Applies equally to the 3 variations of commit and to commit itself. B. Applies only to commit. C. Applies to commit and to consider informally. Or D. Applies to commit and go into committee of the whole.
I have no fucking idea.
And the
Because
answer,
I don't know what all the standard characteristics are. Like, I don't have them memorized.
okay, the answer is A. Which
is all of them?
3 variations and to commit itself. Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a. I wouldn't have possibly been able to answer that because, like, I don't know what all the like that requires you like to know all of them off the top of your head. And,
I think the key on this one is knowing what the 3 variations are.
yeah, but I was
So-
trying to think if there was any rule that didn't apply to all of them.
Okay, so we go to section 13.
But there's something very interesting in this section. I do want to. If it might not be in this section, but there's something I want to bring up that has to do with
Page
Colorado.
168,
13.
which is before standard descriptive characteristics.
What? It's before it. Okay.
The 2 paragraphs right before it.
Right here.
Before the standard descriptive characteristics. So go to the next page.
I'm right here.
Now go to your next page.
Oh.
Yeah, these 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All of the rules
Yeah.
except when stated to the contrary. Is it stated anywhere to the contrary? Because if it is, then all of the rules don't apply.
Okay, but above that, the 3 variations
But no,
Hold
stop. That's this applies unless it says it doesn't. Well, no shit. That's just like wherever you go, there you are.
Well, there you were.
But yeah, it applies except where it doesn't apply.
Yes. This is Schrodinger's rules.
Okay, if there are exceptions, then all of them don't apply.
Okay. Well, let's back up a little bit. The 3 variations. Okay, above there.
Okay.
Committee of the whole, quasi committee of the whole,
Yes.
and consider informal, like I mentioned. Informals consider this is the simplest one, right? The term recommit is applied to a motion that proposes to refer a question a second time, either to the same committee that previously considered or to a different one. All of the rules in this section, except when stated to the contrary, apply equally to variations A, B, and C, which is what was mentioned above, and any motion to recommit. Okay, first of all, what they don't mention. Okay, I think there's a problem with this question. Okay, because item A says applies equally to the 3 variations of commit and to commit itself, but this specific citation says a motion to recommit.
Yeah, but it says it right here. on mine, all of the rules in this section, except when stated that they don't, no shit, apply equally to all the variations and to recommit.
Yeah, but the answer A doesn't say recommit, it says commit.
Well, right.
That's what I'm thinking the question's fucked up.
No, just because it doesn't mention an additional one it applies to doesn't mean...
Okay, so walking through the characteristics here.
That probably should say recommit, but I don't think that makes the question bad.
I'm just skimming through real fast. Let's see if I see anything that jumps out at me. Question. I have one second debatable. Amendable as follows. There's nothing specific for exceptions about committee of the whole, etc., and so on in the standard characteristics.
Okay. I guess they were just covering their ass in case they ever wanted to make one.
Yeah.
I wanted to look up something here, though.
Sure.
This has to do with Colorado. Consider informally.
Consider informally. That is towards...
Is that by committee of the whole and
It's in
stuff?
the purple tab. It's in the back. Section 52.
Okay. Because what our past bylaws committee chair was trying to say, that bullshit that they were doing, we're just considering it informally.
Yeah,
But there's something where no,
it's
that's
a section
committee of the
titled
whole.
inform or consider. Yeah, keep going further. It's after that. After quasi committee of the whole too.
Okay.
Just go to this tab.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So just to explain to everyone, what this committee was doing was not taking votes on anything, not having formal amendments, basically just having a coffee clutch that at the end...
Thank you for using that term. I was going to.
Yeah, they had a document that they then did one vote on. And they go, no, we're allowed to do this. We're considering it informally.
They never moved to go into a formal consideration.
But it doesn't matter. Let's say that they did. Right here. The informal aspect of the consideration applies only to the number of speeches allowed in debate on the main question and its amendments. All votes are formal, and any other motion that is made is under the regular rules of debate. It's not the fucking coffee clutch.
Yes.
They just heard that term, pulled it out of their ass.
Never bothered to figure out what it means.
Right. And I just gave up dealing with them. Mm-hmm. But no, everything as far as I'm concerned that committee proposed is invalid because they were not following the rules of but not that the party chair was going to do anything about it.
No, the party chair wasn't versed enough on this to know that. But that's
just, but whatever. I just wanted to point out they were not considering it informally. And yes. I didn't buy your bullshit, but you get to a point where you realize that it does no good to...
Yeah, as it says right there, and I've used informal consideration extensively in the past for both committees and running a state XCOM meeting, is that the motion is heard or made, and if it's seconded, then there can be a case of moving to informal consideration.
It's relaxed,
more relaxed, to get a little more free form debate going on, to figure out what to do with it. Then once you come to a conclusion, you bring it back out again,
right?
And if there's amendments to be made or something like that, then they're made and things go from there. Best example we ever did for this was trying to figure out the 2011 California Convention. Here's the story. Our chair was unable to do that meeting, executive committee meeting, because of a family issue. Okay, so he gave me the gavel as Southern Vice Chair because he didn't feel the Northern Vice Chair had the parliamentary experience to handle it. So he said, take it. I said, okay, what do we got to get done? He said, we got to get our budget passed and we got to get the convention site sorted out. We got the budget passed after a little bit of finagling, but that took care of it. But we were meeting up in Lake Tahoe because that was the...
We got to eat. Come on.
That was the location.
Get to the meat here.
But we had to interrupt the meeting to go tour the possible sites.
Right.
So I said, okay, guys, here's an idea. Let's adjourn this meeting until 7 o'clock this evening. Let's go view the sites. Everybody pay attention. You're all looking for different things. That's fine. We'll reconvene at 7 and we'll go over everything. We did that. 7 o'clock hits. We meet in the Elvis suite of one of the casinos, which they gave it to us gratis to do this, which is kind of cool. And we get into the meeting, and I said, okay, here's my suggestion. Everybody's looking at different things. Let's go into an informal discussion session about this, and let's just hammer this out and come up with an answer. Everybody's cool with it. We did. Everybody had a say. We kind of went around the room. Everybody got a say. There was a little bit of horse trading for different things going back and forth. And at the end of all of it, I said, okay, is everybody get satisfied? They've had their say about what's going on. They said, yeah. Okay, so let's take it back out of informal consideration, back to formal proceedings. We had a motion to deal with it. We had the vote. The vote passed unanimously. Everything was kosher. It worked beautifully, but that's how you do it.
Right. But you can also do it while a motion is pending.
Yes.
It just basically relaxes the rules of debate.
Yes.
But if that does not go for however many fucking meetings they had where they never had a vote, they never had any.
Yeah.
Those weren't meetings. There was no committee as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, okay, we're going to take a break. But it's also 4:34, so I'm not sure how much more we're going to. Oh, we want to do more though after we eat. Just not sure how much. Okay.
I'm at your disposal on schedule. So
yeah, I've got a phone call. I've got a few meetings later tonight, but other than that, so I am going to close us out here, and we will be back.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray, all opposed. You say nay, opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.